Get 'em, Jimmy, where low shack at? The bottle's getting empty up the crack and we stacking chips, all of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated pub sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced, leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call a truce. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Wednesday, February 15th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Big card here today. We got 6 games in NHL, 10 in NBA, and we picked 10 in NCAA basketball. LJ will be joining us. LJ from H-Town will be joining us to attack the NBA card. And then Dabra will be joining us to attack the NCAA basketball card. Let me pop the chat out and give you guys some richly deserved love. Thank you for joining us here. Let's see, we got Deshaun G ready to get to work. Sky Dragon. Sky Dragon. Yeah, it was tough loss on Super Sunday, man. I was going over all of the NFL Pub records and putting them out yesterday. Shout out to Bobano for his victory, his season-long, extremely impressive performance in the NFL Pub. He only beat Spenny Pennybombs by 1.5 units with the Sky Moore touchdown. Spenny came very close to winning it all. Spenny had a 33% ROI on our show. What a capper he is. But I was going over the stats. I was like, how did they lose? How did they lose this football game? But they did lose it. Hurts still. There's Clint, star of the Die Hard MMA podcast. And wow, I have been away for a couple days. I was in the hospital, and I had no idea that this was going on, Clint. I'm so sorry. I had no idea. That's wonderful news. I had no idea that you were going through that. It says my mom got released last night from the hospital. Thank you for all the prayers and good vibes. I'm so sorry that I didn't know that you were going through that. It's so tough. But that's wonderful news that she's out. And I'm sorry I wasn't there in your corner when you were going through that. I'm really sorry. But that's wonderful news. Wonderful news that she's out. And we love you so much, Clint. So that's great news that she's out. And I'm sorry. Lucky Lefty in the house. And Ryan Mueller letting Clint know how important that wonderful news is. Slatsy says you must be using the same doctors as the Habs. Hope you're feeling better. Stop being on the injury list. Yeah, it's not. I don't need to go into it, but I guess my lifestyle is not conducive to a healthy body. I don't know, but got a little health issue that I'll have to deal with, I guess, from time to time for the rest of my life. I don't really know how it's going to bang out, really, but yeah, I don't know what to say about it. I don't know. Who would have thought that gambling nonstop and drinking heavy would affect your body? God did. Fuck. Sorry. If I say God did once, I'm going to say it throughout the show. It's the DJ Khaled curse. I'm holding one in right now. My family hates it. My friends hate it. I hate it. I don't like it. Why am I? Shout out to Troy Torrance, Slatsy, Armchair, Andrew G, Serious Business, North Ender, Dav Fenn, Rob Garvey, D Jenkins, in the house. Slatsy also, Slatsy saying, why are the Yotes trying so hard to trade Chikrin? Rebuilding team with a signed stud defenseman. I don't get it. I don't think he's. I think they should get whatever they can for Chikrin as well. I'm not a huge fan of his, but I do like the Coyotes. I do like the Coyotes here, and I have placed a wager on them on the first period. I do like them here. I've not had great success backing the Coyotes, but I do like them here. Big Show Picks, Armchair MMA, Rocco Rogers, Guillermo Zertucci. Thank you, Lucky Lefty. A gift from Mr. Gokster. There is a Nasty Nate in the house. Great group. Remo says, drive to work today. Local radio was talking about a revenge spot for the Oilers, and I yelled at Rebecca. He says, is that normal? Oh, man, I love hearing that. Okay. Dan Kelly says, one bad ref call away from being great Super Bowl. Harry Papa says, Texas A&M lock it up. That will be one of the games that we will be discussing here. Diehard MMA podcast, Equanimus, Lee Davis. Yes, Dan Kelly, I do have to take better care of myself. When I went down to Costa Rica a little over 5 years ago, that was about the best shape I've been in 20 years, Then I started focusing my whole life around capping and gambling. Every day, something changed. North Ender says the Orange and the Sooners system plays cash. I love hearing that. Lucky Lefty says liquor was burning the lining of my stomach. For real, 2 weeks ago. Yeah. I think probably should stay away from the Kraken for a little while, but I'm fine. Nothing to worry about. Dan Kelly said I'm going golfing this afternoon. It's February 15th, and the club is open crazy. I like hearing that. Michael Irvelina, thank you. Yes, let's all live a long, healthy life. You know what will help us live a long, healthy life? Geez, long, healthy wife. I don't know if that's a good thing either, but a long, healthy life. You know what's going to help us is winning. I do think my tough start to 2023 probably played a role in what's going on right now. So let's get to work. I will be capping NHL with you guys. I feel like I just, I finished 2022 really strong, and then I had the terrible start to 2023. I had a very terrible start to the season, but caught up and was healthy in the black. And then Friday, I felt like I was just kind of reaching, looking for spots. And I don't feel that's the case here. You may hear I've made 5 bets, and I haven't made a bet in NHL and NBA. Although in NBA, goddamn, there was 2 unders that I was like, well, of course, these are going to be unders. But they didn't come out till like 8 this morning, and they were just hammered. And I was like, all right, I'll let that. I'll let it go. The Pistons Celtics under was just destroyed immediately. The Heat Brooklyn Nets under was just destroyed immediately. All right. But in NHL, you may think of these bets and be like, look, Jimmy, you're reaching here. And that's fine if you think that. I do not feel that's the case. I feel that there are enormous favorites in NHL tonight that are just ridiculous, that they shouldn't be that big a favorite. So let's get to work right now and fire away. There's Dabby Cab in the house. Looking forward to cap the NCAA basketball card with Dabra Kadabra. Let's go. 7 p.m. Eastern. Chicago Blackhawks 16-31-5, 6-15-2 on the road at Toronto Maple Leafs 32-14-8, 26-4 home. And let me also mention, because I did kind of leave the whole issues that are going on with me a little cloudy. It's not booze related. It's not liver related. It's not alcohol related. I'm sure the sauce isn't helping, but none of it is booze related or anything like that. So I just want to make that get that out there. It's not because I have some stuff to announce, and I will be announcing shortly here, and it's going to involve live streams, and those are the only nights that I'm drinking. I do not drink. I decided, look, I drink with my friends on our live betting streams, and so I don't drink at all now, not a drop on any other day of the week. So I should get that out of the way. But let's get to work. Blackhawks, Leafs, Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario. Peter Mrazek, 5-14-2, 3.95 goals against average, 885 save percentage, no shutouts. Looks like the great Peter Mrazek will be in net for the Blackhawks. Look, and please confirm that he is, because I don't want to start waxing poetic on certain players if they're not going to be in the lineup. Look, he's been absolutely atrocious. He's been so bad. He's been a tiny bit better over his last 5 or 6 starts, but he's also playing against a team that wanted nothing to do with him, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Will that spur him on? I don't know. But it helps if you think that the Blackhawks have a chance here. Samsonov is on the other side, 18-6-2, 2.32 goals against average, 17 save percentage, 3 shutouts. I backed the Blue Jackets against Samsonov, and that was a mistake. Samsonov shut him out 3-0. I guess the break helped him, and that makes sense because he is not used to playing this much hockey. Just not used to it. And so the break helped him. I have cut the stats down for looking back at what these teams have done to 5 games now. And that does cover the last couple games for some before the All-Star break and then a few games afterwards. Blackhawks 1-3-1, 7.1% power play, 69.2% penalty killing over their last 5 games. Look, they're playing bad hockey. Toronto 2-3-0, 41.7% power play and 88.2% penalty killing. You have to be playing really badly 5-on-5 to win 2 of 5 hockey games when your power play is striking at 41.7% and your penalty killing is at 88.2%. Let's take a look at the line history here, and it's a ludicrous, absolutely ludicrous, these lines. For a team that's won 2 of their last 5 hockey games and now has their star player in Austin Matthews returning, which we know doesn't really help first game when your star player returns. This is astonishing what they've set this line at. And when it opened at Pinnacle with the Leafs minus 464. And when it got to minus 475, I was like, well, it can't go any higher than this. This is absolute lunacy. I sound like an 80-year-old man capping. And I guess my body is of an 80-year-old man as well. But absolute lunacy. How could the Leafs be minus 464? Or did you watch them lose to the Blue Jackets 4-3? But how on earth? And of course, there has been a 70 cents exactly move towards the Toronto Maple Leafs since then, which is just astonishing. This total opened up at 6.5 as a pick'em. There's been a 5-cent move to the under. So neither of those moves did help the bet that I made last night, which I think, and I'll say this straight up, I think this is the best bet on the entire board. And if you use the -1 calculator, you can get this at minus 120 or better. I got it at minus 131. The single best bet on the board is to back the Chicago Blackhawks team total over 2. Over 2. That's the best bet on the entire board. Slatsy said, my old man was an alcoholic and had cancer all over when he died, except his liver. Doctor's still trying to figure it out. Well, that's a riddle that's not going to help my thoughts about my own health. But I will copy and paste it, Slatsy. I will copy and paste it. Remo says you're a short guy. Come on, Rem. 5'11" is short. But says you need at least 30 minutes of exercise at least 3 to 5 days a week. You're absolutely right. That's the big problem is there's absolutely zero exercise whatsoever. So you're absolutely right. You're right. And but look, I've got a lot to think about, obviously, and I will do that. All right. Okay, and let's get back to work here. Sammy Comer on Chicago. Wow, you can get a team total 2 or more at plus 136? No. Oh, sorry, those are plus 2 and plus 1.5. Okay, thank you. Sorry. Chicago team total over 2.5 plus 157 for Sammy Comer. Chicago plus 2 at plus 136. Chicago plus 1.5 at plus 174. Slatsy, yeah, no, that would work if I did run the liquor store. In fact, you're right. But let's go back to this as hard as it may be right now. Chicago on the second half of a back-to-back after losing 4-0 at Montreal last night. They were down 1-0 heading into the third period. They didn't look good. They were outshot 31-22. Look, this is a shit hockey team. Patrick Kane had 2 goals and 5 assists, 7 points in 8 games played, and was a -2 before the All-Star break. You know, he looked okay. Since the All-Star break or since he found out that he's not being traded to the New York Rangers, he has no goals, 1 assist in 4 games, and he's a -4. This is a nice showcase for himself in Toronto. He has to know that. He has to know that. Creekman saying take zinc and D3 vitamins every day. I will copy and paste that. Okay. So let me move this over here and put that right under Slatsy's comment. Okay, let's get back to work here. So I think that the team total over 2, if anybody needs the -1 calculator, let me know. We'll pop it in the chat. The team total over 2 is the single best bet on the entire NHL slate. Right? You have a team that's been shut out the night before that's angry. You have a goalie in Samsonov who has been very good at home, sure, and coming off a shutout himself. But over his last 3 home starts, he allowed 5 goals to the Bruins. He allowed 6 goals to the Senators. In the middle of those 2 games was a strong start against Capitals, where he allowed 1 goal and 24 shots. There's changes to this Leafs lineup with Austin Matthews coming back. So Austin Matthews returns on Wednesday. So Justin Hall is a healthy scratch. Connor Timmins is coming in. Alex Kerfoot is in the top 6, but Yarncroc is being dropped to the 3rd line. And that's some changes to hockey team. And then you have this angry Blackhawks team where this is as important as a hockey game is going to be. So Deacon Mike says they're going to get steamrolled. You know, look, we just so often see a star player come back and the team not perform the way you expect them. Not only that, but we often see a team on the second half of a back-to-back who's embarrassed on the first half in all professional sports. Well, I guess we're really talking just NBA and NHL here. But on the second half back-to-back, play much better. So, look, I'm on the Blackhawks first period at plus 225. I'm on the Blackhawks team total over 2. And I got a bad number because I just thought this line was absolutely insane. And now the Leafs are minus 600 on Bet365. But the first period hasn't changed at plus 225. Now, what I'm sure has changed is this team total using that. Thank you, Big Show, for popping it in. This team total now, the 2. Oh, my God, this is unbelievable. The 2 is like almost plus money. Unbelievable. This is by far the best bet on the board. The team, now look, it's firing against us fast. It's going in the opposite direction, and it makes me look foolish. But the team total right now at 2 is at minus 102. That's absolutely ridiculous. That hip is an issue for Kane, yeah, but he wants out now. And the only way he's going to get out is if he shows that it's something that he can take care of in the offseason. So, Lee Davis saying Chicago 0-8 on back-to-backs. How many of those back-to-backs did they get shut out on game 1? I just think it's a different situation. Look, and I'm not sitting here saying the Blackhawks are going to come out and beat the Leafs. What I'm saying is the Blackhawks team total over 2 at minus 102 is the best bet on the board. And yes, I should be embarrassed for taking it at minus 131. What up, Markel? What up, Fat Wally? So that's the single best bet on the board. The Blackhawks team total over 2 at minus 102. The Chicago Blackhawks first period at plus 225, I've also bet. Let's move on. We move on to 9 p.m. Eastern. So we have an early game at 7 p.m., and then we have 2 hours there where there's no other games popping off. Scamming Comer says odds are better for the Hawks team total over 2.5 on 365 versus Penny. Isn't that telling? Yeah, I think that that this line is absolutely just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I can't even comprehend how stupid it is. Maybe I'll have to add something to that team total over 2 because now that it's just at even money, it's just insane. What up, Brian Watson? Deacon Mike says, so far this NHL season, games with 6 goals or more, 411, under 278. That's wild. That's wild. Absolutely wild. All right, let's move on to this spot. Lightning 34-16-2, 13-12-0 on the road. Arizona Coyotes 18-28-8, 11-8-2 at home. Now, this line isn't so wild, but it even surprised me a little. The fact that the line started moving towards Tampa did shock me. There's been a 14-cent move. They're going from minus 225 to minus 239. How? How is that possible when you break down these stats? Let's just take a look at the total as well. The total here, sorry, move on to movement here. Total is gone from over 6.5 minus 107. There's been a 1 cent, a couple cent move to the under. How on earth can you take a hockey team in the Lightning that are just 13-12 on the road, that just beat the Stanley Cup champions in a rematch of last year's Stanley Cup final, 4-3 in a shootout? How could you possibly want to back them here? With their backup, with Brian Elliott in net? I mean, it's just absolutely ludicrous. And look, again, I'm not saying that we're going to sit here and watch, we're not going to sit here and watch the Coyotes beat the Lightning. But how on earth could this line be the way it is? It simply makes no sense to me whatsoever. And I had to bet Arizona first period at plus 160 because I didn't have the balls to take them full game. But look at the advantages here. The Coyotes have a better home record than the Lightning have as a road record. Coyotes are 11-8-2 at home. Karel Vejmelka is a better goaltender than Brian Elliott. Imagine what Karel Vejmelka's numbers would be like with the Lightning in front of him. He's 15-17-5, 3.20 goals against average, 906 save percentage, 3 shutouts. But imagine if he had a great team like the Lightning in front of him. Brian Elliott has a 3.14 goals against average, 898 save percentage. Thank you, Sky Dragonite. But this is absolutely ludicrous what we're seeing right now. Yes, the Lightning are a healthy group. Yes, they're playing good hockey. They've won 3 straight. But the Coyotes have scored 12 goals in their last 3 games. I wish the Coyotes were an even, bigger dog so I could do other things here. I'll take the Coyotes first period, but let's just go to the team total for the Coyotes here. I have looked at it already. I already once deemed it not worthy. And how on earth do you not bet their team total over 3 at a big plus line? I guess if you can get your 2.5 at less than minus 125, maybe you can take the team total over 2.5. But team total over 2.5 is just, I don't want to sit here and pay any vig whatsoever on the Coyotes. When you're going to take a huge dog like this, there should be no vig spent whatsoever, which would then force me to take the 3. But I'm going to put this here, team total over 3. I'm going to watch it here and decide how to do it. See, like Sammy Comer's getting Arizona team total over 2.5 minus 107. And that's so what up, Rez Mob, my man in the house. Mikey M saying Wednesday night trend, East teams playing on West Coast 1-9-1 to the under this season. Arizona Ducks, Edmonton, Vancouver 1-9-1 to the under this season. East teams playing on the West Coast. So that's happening in Arizona, Anaheim, Edmonton, and Vancouver. That's a very, very important angle that I will talk about. So this is just absolutely nonsense. How often are you going to sit with gambling legalized and it just open everyone, where you'd have 2 lines like this Leafs, Blackhawks, and this Coyotes, Lightning? That would be absolutely ludicrous. That you can't comprehend. And the market's moving in those directions. Rarely. There's my guy Razor Sharp Picks in the house. An interesting Big Show saying the winning team in over 43% of NHL games this season was trailing at some point in the game. Live betting, absolutely beautiful live betting opportunities. And I've got some exciting stuff live betting wise to talk about, but we're going to hold off mentioning it right now. But look, I'm on Arizona first period. how the Lightning are going to be enthused to play in Mullett Arena in front of 4,000 fans after beating the Stanley Cup champions in a shootout. Now, that was a champions team without Cale Makar, or Josh Manson playing defense for them, or their captain, Gabe Landeskog, in the lineup. So, but I don't get it. I don't get it. So we'll move past here. Res Mob says, I'm seeing the NBA clearly, and they're about to break. Yeah, well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Thank God LJ will be here with us. But okay, so there we go. Sorry those two games took so long, but I got to add the team total over in some way with the Coyotes here. There's just too giant of a risk reward. Let's move on to 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Okay, this is one spot where situationally I knew what the bet was to make, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't take the Oilers here. I couldn't do it. And I wish I had of, but I couldn't do it. Cashman looking at the Chicago team total over 1.5 minus 180. I really think when we back huge dogs in the NHL, there should never not be 1 cent of VIG that we ever spent. Now, getting the 2.5 for the Coyotes team total minus 107, that could be arguable here, but we cannot turn dogs into favorites ever. Christopher Comentini says Oilers, and yes, I agree. Let's go over it to the line history. Now, I did make a bet on this game, and it wasn't on the side. I mean, how do you not back the over here? How do you not back the over? Let's talk about a couple things. I also, if anybody can confirm, because this was last night, who's in goal for Edmonton tonight? Because Soupy Dumps is going to take over the starting job here in Edmonton. That's my prediction. My prediction is Stuart Skinner is in the All-Star game. Thank God for how well he's played, but I just see Jack Campbell winning this job back. Jack Campbell's won 8 straight starts. He hasn't allowed more than 3 goals in any of them. Jack Campbell will be the starting goaltender come playoff time. Jack Campbell will be the starting goaltender when it comes down the stretch here. So look at that. That's wild. DC Capper. Let me copy and paste this right now. Thank you for sharing that with us. I can't wait to cap college basketball. If I wasn't dealing with some stuff, I would have had a nice night in college basketball, but I made no bets there. Okay. Dan Kelly says, just a quick yes or no. I like a nice plus money same game parlay. How does this one? Blackhawks over 1.5 goals. First period over 1.5. A Nylander anytime goal. Yes. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Okay, let's go back to NHL here. Okay, so I'm on the over at 6.5 at minus 125. I bet it last night. This line history here, we have the Oilers opening up at minus 226. Right now they're minus 229. There has been a 13-cent move towards the Oilers in the at 11:14 this morning. So that's interesting. From a total side of things, this opened up at 6.5. They moved it to 7. You can still get the 6.5 at Pinnacle. Let's pull up what the 6.5 is here because I got it up. Let's pull it up right now. We have, so the Leafs are minus 534 at Pinnacle. I mean, can you believe they're minus 600? Bet 365 is absolutely ludicrous. Sorry, let's move over to this total here at Penny and see what they're giving it up for. The total at 6.5 is minus 134 to the over. I got minus 125 last night. These teams are just playing very high-scoring hockey right now. And the over. Lee Davis saying Edmonton is 22-5 to the over when playing their 4th game in 7 days. So, again, I'd love to know if Skinner is going to be in the lineup because I would even like the over more. I expect Campbell to heat up now. I've said that already. Husso, 20-12-5, 2.89 goals against average, 905 save percentage, 3 shutouts. Detroit's 3-2-0 over the past 5, 19% power play, 88.9% penalty killing. That will help them here. Edmonton's 3-1-1 over the past 5, 27.8% power play, 77.8% penalty killing. Detroit comes in off its 3rd straight win, 6-1 at Vancouver on Monday night. There's so many different ways to look at this. And obviously, this is going to be a much more difficult task. But are you getting the right risk reward to back the Oilers here? And my answer is no. I think the outcome that I expect to happen the most if these teams played 100 times with the way they're playing right now, with their lineups right now, is the Oilers to win by 1 goal. So do I want a minus 158, -1 on the Oilers? Why? Just because they got embarrassed by the Habs on the last game of their road trip? I just don't want it. Do I have to take Edmonton on the puck line? Would I be surprised if Edmonton wins this game 4-3? No. And so I couldn't do it. So I don't know if you guys have taken a look at the Eastern Conference standings. And the wonderful thing is for me is I get to look at the Eastern Conference standings and see what the Rangers are doing right now. And the Rangers are playing very, very good hockey. And Dennis Garcia got me on them to make the playoffs. When he said it was -110, when I bet it must have been 4 or 5 hours later, 6, I don't know how many hours later, but it was -115. I mean, basically my friend Dennis just gifted me $450 or $460. Dollars I'm going to need because it's not been a great start to the season, but also it covers mistakes I made in the futures. And I can't think about the Eastern Conference. I can't look at the standings without thanking my friendship with Dennis Garcia. Every team in the Eastern Conference wildcard race looks vulnerable. Every single team right now. Every team is on a losing streak except the Penguins, who just won 3-1 last night. It's the only reason why they're not. It's not impossible for the Red Wings to get back in this wildcard race. It's not. Dylan Larkin, Philip Roenick are playing very well. Tyler Bertuzzi is healthy and playing good hockey. He has a ton of value in the trade deadline market. Yzerman doesn't care about sneaking into the playoffs. If he can get a ton from Bertuzzi, he's going to get it. 2018 second-round pick Jonathan Berggren is playing so well. 3 goals in his last 2 games, so there's yet another young sniper on this team. The Oilers opened up their post-All-Star break road trip by defeating these Red Wings 5-2 on Tuesday, February 7th, back in Detroit. Detroit remembers that. But still, the Oilers go 2-1-1 on the trip, losing in their lone regulation loss, a very ugly 6-2 loss at Montreal on Sunday. Yamamoto and Clem Costin out for the Oilers. So all that, there's Luis in the house. Great to see you. And with all that being said, I think the over 6.5 is an absolute gift, but -120, I wouldn't want to pay -135 on it. So Lee Davis saying that third period was versus Edmonton was chippy too. Slatsy says they're burning out Husso. How long can he keep going? It was nice to have the All-Star break. I don't know I can't wait to watch what Yzerman does at trade deadline. And if Bertuzzi goes somewhere, I hope he goes to your team because he's going to be an enormous difference maker when he gets to play some real hockey. Lucas Raymond remains out with a lower body injury, but look at Jonathan Berggren step up with him out. So I'm on the over 6.5 -125, and that's the only bet I can make. I'm just not going to take the Oilers on the puck line. And look, Detroit beating up on Vancouver. What was it? 6-2 and 6-1. It was 6. We'll talk about it in the Vancouver game, but the 6-1 win at Vancouver Monday night. Yeah, they're going to be in a much tougher contest. I get it if you want Edmonton. I want the over 6.5. Let's move on. Next up for us, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, Colorado Avalanche, 28-19-4, 15-10-1 on the road at the Minnesota Wild, 28-20-5, 69-2 at home. We're at Xcel Energy Center in St. Paul, Minnesota. Georgiev going up against Marc-Andre Fleury. So let's just Georgiev played last night, of course, so there's no way that Georgiev, I don't know why he was listed last night. Of course, he's not going to be in a back-to-back here. So Francouz will be in net for the Avalanche. Marc-Andre Fleury, we don't even know if he'll be the choice for the Wild. The Wild are slipping right now. Fleury's not a good goaltender. I said all these things would happen at the beginning of the season, that Fleury is not good, .902 save percentage. I'm not saying that picking him over Talbot was the wrong decision. I would have taken Talbot in a heartbeat, but the Wild just aren't that good. They're not that good. And Ryan Hartman isn't a superstar center like he showed last year. And now they're, even with Eriksson Ek playing so much better, the Minnesota Wild has some nice pieces, but when every other team in the league has $14 million more because of the buyback on Parise and Suter. I mean, the salary caps just aren't big enough if you give every team a $14 million advantage on you. I have the under 99.5 points, and I hate the Wild. I despise the Wild. I want to watch them lose so badly. I hate them. I hate them. Colorado's on the second half of back-to-back after losing in the shootout in Tampa last night. Let's go over the line history here. It feels even better when you cash a season-long bet against a team that you just can despise. And I despise the Minnesota Wild, and I'll never stop despising them. In saying that, I thought about betting them here. They opened up minus 139. They went down to minus 132. How could they open up at minus 139? Is anybody watching this Wild hockey team play? Yes, Colorado's on the second half of back-to-back. Yeah, they just lost, to the team that beat in the Stanley Cup final in the shootout. Yeah, it's a bad spot for them, sure. But is anybody watching how bad this team is playing right now? This total opened up at 6. It's now at 5.5. Even that, okay, Colorado's 1-1 in 2 in 4 games since the All-Star break. Cale Makar remains out with a concussion. I don't know if it was last night or this morning, I watched the Jeff Carter hit on Makar again over and over and over and over and over again. Because Jeff Carter says he was just following the puck, but that it's hard to not think that was intentional. Josh Manson's very close to returning. He could return tonight. He's been wearing a full contact jersey. The thing is that you'll rarely see players return from injury on the road. You see them often return from injury here at home. Pimp Slap play today is on the Minnesota Wild. Oh, wow. Look at that. And Francouz is out. I think, wow, so interesting. So it is going to be Georgiev in a back-to-back situation. I'd love if we could get stats on what he does in a back-to-back situation. Wow, I'm sure that's not happened very often in his career. That throws another level of interest. A Wild come off a 2-1 shootout loss at home to Florida on Monday. They're 1-3-1 since the All-Star break. In those 5 games, they've scored 7 goals. With Kaprizov and Zuccarello, 7 goals. Is Guerin going to do something at the trade deadline? Or is he just going to say, look, we're dealing with this huge disadvantage salary cap-wise, and we're just going to lay down? I doubt it. But Mike M is backing the Wild here. I can't do it. I'm watching them play, and they look terrible. Do I want to back Georgiev on the second half of back-to-back when I don't have information on how he's handled that in his past with the Avalanche missing 2 stars? I don't want anything. I don't want them either. So I don't trust Marc-Andre Fleury. And I don't know how Georgiev is going to handle the second half of a back-to-back. It's not easy. You put that together, and, why wouldn't you bet the over if it drops to 5.5? Because what? Because the Wild haven't been scoring? I don't. So now Pinnacle has moved this to 5.5, but Bet365 is hanging the 6 as a pick 'em. So I need to wait. I need to wait till the books follow what Pinnacle is doing. Because Pinnacle is the over 6 at plus 108. Bet365 is the over 6 at minus 110. It's ludicrous. So I'm going to wait here. And when it goes down to 5.5, when the market follows what Pinnacle is leading, I'm going to bet against what they expect here. I don't care that the Wild have scored 7 goals the last 5 games. This is a tired Avalanche team, and they have to be all over them. And they got to play with intensity because they're playing like little bitches right now, and they're going to fall out of the... There's only 9 teams that can make the playoffs if you discount the Nashville Predators, which I do in the Western Conference. And that last spot is between the Flames and the Wild. And I know Dennis is happy to hear that the Flames are going to take care of business and get that spot over the Wild. But the Wild, they have a lot of toughness and have a lot of heart on this team. They're not just going to sit back and do nothing. So I'm going to wait till this is at 5.5, Bet365, which shouldn't take long. I'm going to bet the over 5.5 in this game. So Dennis will be happy. There's another hammer against the market at this point. Rodney Barton in the house. I love it. What up, Rodney? Okay. Let's move on to we got to speed up because I know that my man LJ ready to rock, but we have 2 games left in NHL. Here's another one that I just didn't agree with. I didn't agree with, and it comes down to coaching. And do you trust the coaching of the Buffalo Sabres? And look, I think that they're wearing their defensemen out, and it's going to blow up in their face. And I've been saying it all year, and maybe it's happening now. But you have to coach a certain way to win on the road. And when you have a team on a 4-game losing streak that's allowed 12 goals in 2 games since the All-Star break, that can't happen. You go into the dressing room and you lose your shit. You scream in all of their faces. You can't go out there and be little bitches and think we're going to be in the playoff race. Are you guys men or are you little boys? Because they're playing like little boys out there. How do you win on the road? You play smart, tight defensive hockey, and the Sabres aren't doing that. This is the easiest coaching for me ever. Coaching angle of this. So, look, the 6.5 being hammered to the over. It's at minus 140 right now, so I should have even waited. These markets, God, well, I'm just playing these markets like an ass clown. So it's moved 5 cents in the opposite direction. I got the under 6.5 at plus 115. It's now at plus 120. So yeah, that's fine. You go back to what these teams have been doing, and you're like, look how high scoring the games are. Right? You go back. So look, 5-2 in LA for the Sabres, 7-2. But look at the games before that. They were all unders. The game versus Carolina was barely under because that was 6.5. The game against Minnesota was a huge under. The game against Winnipeg was a huge under. So they played 3 straight unders before these last 2 overs. Let's go back to the Ducks. So yeah, the last 2 games against Pittsburgh and Vegas, they got destroyed. They got outclassed offensively. But look at the games before that. Against Chicago, that was a clear under, 3-2. Against Dallas, an easy under, 3-2. Those are all extra. So there was 4 goals scored in regulation at Chicago. There was 4 goals scored in regulation at Dallas. And there was 2 goals scored at home versus Arizona. So the market's only focusing on what's happened in the last 2 games for these teams. So Ron Crawford, NHL spreadsheet, is Buffalo in regulation. We miss you, Ron Crawford. It is great to see you, my man. So let's copy and paste Ron Crawford here in my worksheet. And maybe the sound of the Ron Crawford theme song will calm my inner rage down. And I'm telling you that it's fucking impossible because the Canucks game is coming up next. Mike M saying the Ducks 0-5 in the first period at home. Stimmy OG is on the Coyotes money line, Wild money line, and also in the under Minnesota, Colorado. You're going to beat the market, Stimmy. I'm gonna study, try to get some more information on Georgiev on back-to-backs, but I'm going to be on the over 5.5 in that hockey game. Okay, so I'm on the under 6.5 here. Luukkonen, Gibson, they're both capable of playing good hockey. We've both seen them play well. They haven't been playing that well of late. Buffalo 1-3-1 over the past 5, 20% power play, 60% penalty killing. Anaheim 2-2-1, 13.3% power play, 94.1% penalty killing. Where does Buffalo hurt you on the power play? And now over the last little bit, you're actually playing pretty good. Not pretty good, the best in the entire league over the last 5 games. Let's take a look at the line history there. So move over to this Ducks game. There's been a huge move towards Buffalo. Look, I get it. Buffalo opening up minus 191. They're now minus 216. Look, they've lost 4 straight. They're a much better team than the Ducks. I get it. Do you want that big of a favorite on the road? I mean, I don't know. If you do, you take it. This total opened up at 6.5. Pinnacle is got the same sort of situation that they were doing with the Detroit Edmonton game. So the Ducks coming off an ugly 7-2 loss at the Knights on Sunday. They've lost the last 2 by a combined score of 13-5. There's Domi Gunricci. Look, they can't play like this. The Sabres can't play like this. The Ducks can't play like this. But this is more of a bet on the Sabres. If you're going to go out and play offensive hockey on the road, forget about the playoffs and let's shut it down and decide where you want to go golfing when the season ends. But if you start playing some defensive, accountable hockey, we could make a run to the playoffs. God, I wish I was the coach. I wish I was Granato. Ooh, God, I would go in there and I would just start slapping everybody in the face. I would be screaming and yelling. I would have no voice on the bench. I would just lose. You're going to play like this when we have a chance to be in the playoff race? I'd smash shit. I'd be breaking stuff. I'd be bleeding all over the place. And I'd probably get fired. I'm on the under 6.5 at plus 115. It's available at plus 120. Let's move on to the final game on the board, 10 p.m. Eastern, the New York Rangers. 31-14-8, 15-5-4. Dan Kelly says there just aren't that many chances to play golf in Central New York in the middle of February. Mañana. I love it, man. Go get it. Browns Hughes says under scares me here. I feel a Buffalo offensive explosion here. Hey, look, so does the market, Browns Hughes. That's why it's moving to 7. That's what everybody thinks. Everybody thinks there's going to be a Buffalo explosion, that this game is going to soar over. And if I saw one player not hustling back, if I saw one Sabre cheating offensively, they wouldn't step on the ice for the rest of the game. And if that is Tage Thompson, that's Tage Thompson. I would be so fucking livid with this hockey team after what I've seen from them post All-Star break. But look, I get it. Everybody thinks that. Hammer away at it. I don't see how that's possible. The Sabres should win this game 3-1, and then you say, oh, okay. Or even 4-1 with them, and you'd be like, okay, you guys are going to start playing to make the playoffs now. Rangers, Canucks, Rogers Arena, Vancouver, BC, Shesterkin versus Dahlia. Now, there is a chance that Demko will be back. I don't know. I mean, you probably don't want to start him against the Rangers. There's our guy Swiss Horton in the house. What are you supposed to do? The guy's hobbling around. There's a Super Bowl to go win. Shoot him in the neck with whatever you got. But we'll talk about that here. I got to finish off hockey here, and this one is going to be very difficult to talk about. Colin Delia, look, we waived Spencer Martin. We picked Colin Delia over Spencer Martin. Now, they're both just god-awful goaltenders that shouldn't be in the NHL. We shouldn't be talking about them. Unfortunately, it's the Canucks, so we're going to talk about the shittiest players that exist in North America. And Delia thanks us by allowing 6 goals in front of the hometown faithful against the Red Wings. I mean, it's just horrible. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. We have the Rangers opening up minus 167 at Pinnacle. Yesterday at 1 in the afternoon, they're now minus 200. I get it. We'll take a look at the total here. The total opened up at 6.5, minus 122 to the over. It's now minus 120 to the over. I'd be very interested to see if Demko's going to play, but I wouldn't. But look, Talkett has no affiliation with these players. He doesn't care about Thatcher Demko right now. He's not going to be like, oh, I want to protect Thatcher and not put him out against the Rangers. Tocchet wants to throw these guys in the fire. So I have no idea what Tocchet's going to do here. Rangers are 5-0 and over the past 5, 33.3% power play, 84.6% penalty killing. Vancouver 1-3-1, 23.1% power play, 64.7% penalty killing. The Rangers look very good. They look very good, and it makes me very happy, and I hope to make a lot of money off of them. Now, look, they destroyed Carolina 6-2 at Carolina on Saturday. Carolina is going to fight back, and they're going to be a tough hockey team, and we need to see what Carolina does at the deadline. But the Rangers scored 25 goals over their 5-game winning streak, and I've got them to win the division, which I've let go of. I've got them to win the conference and win the cup, and thanks to Dennis, I got 500 on them to make the playoffs at minus 110. And he gave that to us. Well, he gave it to us in a chat, I believe. But we talked about it as soon as that next day came. We talked about it with you guys over and over again. Panarin scored 4 goals and 1 assist. Just to give you an idea how good this Rangers team could be. He came in with 12 goals on the year. So he scored a third of the goals he scored in the season on Saturday night against the team leading the division. This team is going to be dangerous, man. You got Tarasenko, you got a countryman pushing Panarin. Whew. The Canucks, I don't know how anybody can watch these guys play hockey. I can't. I won't watch them anymore. They're coming off a 6-1 loss home to the Red Wings. I know it's probably going to negatively affect my capping because I won't put them on the TV. They're not allowed in this house. I have a Canucks blanket that no one's allowed to use. I haven't burnt it or anything, but no one's allowed to use the blanket. I don't care how cold you are. Find another blanket. The Canucks outscored 11-3 in their home and home with Detroit. And I know who to blame. That's the problem. And it's Francisco Aquilini. I mean, don't let the owners have any involvement in player personnel decisions or anything. Coach, they shouldn't have any. Look what it's done to the Cowboys. Fucking Cowboys haven't won a playoff game since 1992. Why? Because Jerry Jones making decisions. Aquilini. And then, of course, I'm not going to let Jim Benning off the hook. I mean, he's simply the worst general manager in the history of the franchise. Benning's just a complete asshole, and he owes every single Canucks fan an apology. I mean, like a fucking handwritten letter. Jim Benning should not be allowed to watch NHL hockey ever again. It should be taken away from him. That's what happens when you take a dump on a city's hockey future. When you take 10 years of their fandom away, you shouldn't be allowed to watch hockey anymore. You shouldn't even be allowed in North America. He should have to move from North America, and he should not be allowed to watch any NHL. He shouldn't get the joy of watching NHL hockey after what he did to our franchise. God, I just despise him. I thought I hated Stu Jackson more than anyone ever, but the hate I have, the searing hate that I have for Jim Benning, it just sucks. It sucks that he did this to the city of Vancouver. It's fucking. I didn't bet the hockey game. And look, what's going to happen now? What's going to be great is, great! I get to fucking talk about NBA next. And all right, let's just get rid of NHL here. I'm on the Blackhawks team total over 2. It's the best bet on the board. If you can get that at even money right now at some books. I'm on the Blackhawks first period plus 225. I'm on Arizona first period at plus 160. And I think I do move on the Coyotes team total, whether it be a 2.5 or whether it be a 3. Detroit, Edmonton over 6.5. Look, I love it at minus 125. How expensive should you bet it at? I guess what you should do now, and that's moved to like minus 140 range, is probably take the 7 at plus money. That's probably the answer if you want it. But I can understand not wanting it because the market's moved against you. I'm going to move on the over 5.5 in Colorado, Minnesota. I do want to see if Georgiev's ever played in the back-to-back. I want to study it a little more. Mike M's pimp slap play of the days on the Minnesota Wild. I'm on the under 6.5 in Buffalo, Anaheim. We've been given the NHL spreadsheet play of the day from Ron Crawford is Buffalo in regulation. I'm on the under 6.5. It's now at plus 120. I don't know how Granato can, not just lose his shit. Like I don't know how he can control his emotions watching the Sabres play. I'm not even really. I mean, I like the Sabres, and I guess I'm a fan of them, but just watching them play is just very, very aggravating. And then Rangers, Vancouver. I don't know. Do you really want the Rangers in this situation? We've seen the Canucks step up at times. They were completely embarrassed against the Red Wings. All right. There is Tease in the house. Jeffrey Blue says, don't overthink it. Rangers team total over. You're right. If it's Colin Dahlia, you're right. What happens if Thatcher Demko's in that? I don't know. I'd be very curious to see. And Kevin Clemens says that Ovi's dad passed away today. That's terribly sad. We're so lucky we get to watch a player like Alexander Ovechkin. And I know that he will lead his family through that because he's just got such strength of character. And that's awful news. Awful news, Kevin. Ovechkin's we're just so lucky. All right, that was way too long to go through 6 games. I apologize. But if it's Dahlia, yeah, I get it if you want the Rangers team total over. But are the Canucks really not going to come back after losing 6-1 in front of their new coach? I mean, do they have any heart whatsoever, or does Benning only draft or want players that have no heart and no character? Fucking garbage. What a shit fucking card. Okay. Now, let's move on to NBA. It's just my record's just atrocity. It's become irresponsible at this point to give out picks. It's not fair to my family to bet them. And so I wish it wasn't the All-Star break here, Thursday tomorrow being last set of games, because I would say, look, if I'm down 0.1 units from now to the All-Star break, I'll cut it off. And I've never done that before. Not my whole career have I just had to stop. You know, and I don't have that. I don't have that opportunity because it's All-Star break and it's a tricky time right now. So I don't know what I'm going to do. There was 2 spots where I was like, they weren't available to bet last time. Like, of course, these are clear unders. They're going to get hammered to the under, and they're 4-point swings as soon as they're available. And this is, look, my record is atrocious, and it will be up here. And I take a ton of flack, you know, on Twitter. And I don't mind it. I kind of deserve it because it's not fair to people I care about to lose. And if you're going to lose, then that's fine. Just shut the fuck up, you know? Just don't put it out there. And so I got to make a decision around what's going on with NBA here. Now, we remember last year. Last year, I was down 23.5 units. I finished up 18 units. It's not impossible to turn it around. But because the All-Star break's here right now, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle it, really. So now, one person who can give me some fucking sunshine and some light here, because I'm frustrated. It's been a frustrating 2023, and it's bothering me. It's affecting my health and all this shit. Is your next guest? I love him. We're so lucky to cap with him. You're going to watch him ascend in this business because he's got skills and he's so likable. And I get the pleasure of hanging out with him in San Antonio here in about 6 weeks at Pubapalooza. He's a very high volume gambler, and he's the 35-31 record. It isn't fair because you don't really know how many shows he's done here with us. He hasn't done very many shows, and to bet the volume that he's betting into to succeed is extremely difficult. You guys know that, and he's done that here. He's 35-31, hitting at 53% plus 2.15 units ROI plus 3.26% average line minus 104. One of the rules wasn't really a rule. One of the things with Pete and I was that one of us had to be succeeding in the sport. And we're such different cappers. It just happened. It just worked. Our whole careers, always one of us was succeeding in a sport. So you could put up one of the cappers' horrific record because we know how important honesty and transparency is. And it was okay because the other capper was succeeding. And this is similar to that. LJ's ROI plus 3.26%. If you do that long term and have a high enough unit size, then you're a professional gambler and you're winning. And so I'm thankful. I'm thankful LJ's record is the way it is so that I can have both our records up on fucking screen and that I can talk about fucking NBA. But I'm not just going to sit around here and be a loser in NBA. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's a weird time because All-Star break's coming on. But without further ado, let's bring on your next guest from Houston. Please welcome LJ from H-Town to the show. LJ, how are you, my man?
Good morning, Jimmy. How you doing, sir?
I am frustrated.
I understand. But after the All-Star break, Jimmy, we're going to see you extend because you will be seeing the board clearly. All these players will be playing the games. The West has been shook up because of the trade. So I'm confident, Jimmy, your record is going to be spectacular at the end of the season, sir. You're going to have a major push towards the end of the season.
I hope so. And the record's going to come up here with game one. And, you know, it's tough, man. It's tough because for me, it's family and then capping. And and then nothing else. I don't give it. There's nothing else.
Yes, I get it. I'm the same way. I'm the exact same way. I eat, sleep, and I do my numbers. Cap these games. That's all I do. So I'm with you.
Speaking of your numbers, as I track you very closely, something that you should know because it doesn't work with everybody. The plays that I consider are you getting too cute on your third quarter plays pre-game? So not knowing the game script not knowing the script and betting in third quarters are hitting at a very high rate. And I know that you know that. They're your highest ROI of any bet you have. So when you talk about trusting the numbers, following the numbers, keep doing exactly what you're doing because it's working. It's working. So let's get to work. Let me pull up Sports Insights. I don't even want it up for NHL because I'm sure it would have talked. We'll see how I do in NHL tonight, but it would have got me off a ton of bets that I am making here. Let's get to work. Big 10-game NBA card, and then we have a big 10-game. We've picked 10 games in NCAA basketball. For those of you, just because I know that there's a lot of NCAA cappers, just so you guys know, you can see the games that we're doing on our video description. I'll have that every day, the games that we're breaking down. But just so you guys know, Alabama, Tennessee, Xavier, Marquette, St. Bonaventure, Fordham, UNC Greensboro, Samford, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Indiana, Northwestern, TCU, Iowa, Arkansas, Texas A&M, UC Irvine, UC Santa Barbara, and Oregon, Washington. Let's get to work here in NBA and go. 7 p.m. Eastern, San Antonio Spurs 14-44, 5-23 on the road at Charlotte Hornets 16-43, 8-18 at home. We're at Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. Spurs on a 13-game losing streak, playing very ugly basketball, and no longer have Jakob Poeltl to kind of keep them going. Now they have Keldon Johnson. They have some other plays that we'll discuss here in a second. Let's go to the line history here. This opened up with the Spurs a +6. They're now at +7. Total wise, this opened up at 241, is now at 243.5. One of the interesting things about this 243.5 is that it dropped down to 239.5 early. So it's being hammered back up to the over, which surprises me. And I didn't realize, I hadn't gone back. I didn't realize that had happened. That does surprise me. But they're both playing at a very fast pace. And I just thought that the lean towards the under was probably right, but Spurs over their past 5 games playing at the pace of 103.01 possessions a game. Charlotte 1-4 playing at the pace of 103.00 possessions a game. I'd also like to give a shout out to Swiss Horton. Man, the care that he puts into this channel, it means a ton to us, and we love you, man. A lot of us talking about the support that you give us, and we love you, Swiss. Spurs come in off their 13th straight loss, as I said. Line or cash wise, 9,451 tickets in. 40% of the tickets and 51% of the cash are on the Spurs. Market moving the other way. 25% of tickets and 62% of cash is on the over. 25% of tickets, 62% of cash. Those big bets have come in. We're a lot of talk about Malachi Branham. Went to St. Vincent, St. Mary's, where LeBron went. He has averaged 17.2 points per game in 7 February games. He looks very good. Keldon Johnson still trying to keep the team moving forward. Devontae Graham looked great in that one game, 31 in the double overtime game at Detroit. We'll see how he does in the long run. Losing weighs on you. The Hornets had their best offensive performance of the season by far in the 144-138 win at home over Atlanta on Monday. That snapped a 7-game losing streak. Second largest single-game point total in team history. Take it away for us here, LJ. Spurs, Hornets.
Yeah, this is a little bum fight here, Jimmy. So, of course, I'm not going to take a side in this game. Either one of these teams could win this game because they're both horrible. You went through all the numbers, so I'll just shoot off a little bit of Spurs. Lost 13 in a row, minus 10-point differential. 44 losses ATS against the spread. They give up the most points. They commit the most turnovers in the last 3 games. Hornets, 3-7 in their last 10 ATS, minus 6-point differential, the worst ATS record at home. So I'm not going to bet on any one of these games. So, Jimmy, today I'm going to tread lightly because we're going into the All-Star break. We don't know if some of these players are going to be really wanting to play. They're probably already tuned out, ready for vacation. So we're going to tread lightly when it comes to picking sides. But, Jimmy, get your pen and your paper out because this is a prop day for me, sir. Props. Not a lot, but just the occasional ones that I do. So I'm going to jump on Teddy Rozier, Jimmy. Over 23.5 points, minus 104. He's averaging 24 in his last 6 games, 20 plus 5 out of his last 7 games. And I wouldn't be mad at a PRA either because he's averaging 6 rebounds and 6 assists in the last 5 games as well. So, but I'm just going to stick to the points because the Spurs give up a lot of points to the point guard position and the shooting guard as well. And to mention that, we're going to the point guard, LaMelo. I'm going to take his double-double, -145. He's hit it 3 straight games. The Spurs give up a lot of assists, so I expect Melo to have around maybe 10, 11 assists, along with maybe 18 to 19, close to 20 points. And I believe that, the Hornets should win this game, but they also have 43 losses ATS on the season. So not interested in picking any side. Let's just stick to the players that we know is going to get us money and get points. So LaMelo double-double, Teddy Rozier over 23.5 points.
Locked in. Shout out to Wild Hound with some soccer looks for us. Champions League. Thank you, Wild Hound. He hits at a very high rate. Thank you for taking the time to share that with us, my man. And yeah, look, I get it. I get why you want to stay off of a side here. Seems like some bigger bets are coming in on the Spurs, but 13 straight losses. Market moving towards the Hornets. I see why that's not comforting. I kind of tend to believe that the early move towards the under makes sense, but I'm very hesitant. I just think that you have this Charlotte team coming off shooting 54.1% from 3 and 63.1% from the field, hitting 23s. Are they going to shoot like that again? Now, they are at home. I wish if there was a change of venue, I'd be betting against them heavily. There is no change of venue, and I don't know. Markel says swim way. I will do just that. I will do just that at this point.
Good suggestion.
Luis, my man Luis saying run away. Okay. Let's move on from that one, but 2 looks from our guy LJ. Terry Rozier over 23.5 points and LaMelo double. Let's move on to next ball on the board. 7 p.m. Eastern. Chicago Bulls 26-31, 10-19 on the road at the Indiana Pacers 25-34, 17-14 at home. We're at Gamebridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. But Razor Sharp Picks says PJ Washington over 1.5 threes has been money. It has been money. Are you moving on it? Mike M saying Charlotte first half 8 losses as a favorite. DeRozan's out, yes, Cashman, and Turner we expect to be out. And I don't want to expect too much here, but so close to the All-Star break, it'd be nuts for any team to bring any player back who's questionable. So I think that we can expect all of those guys to be out of the lineup. And I hate putting those expectations on because when you're wrong, you just feel like you've really messed up. But it's kind of the feel here that there will be no DeRozan and there will be no Turner. Both these teams are struggling and battling for the play-in spot in the Eastern Conference. They'll be seeing probably the Raptors there too. And the Raptors adding a little bit of excitement to a season that we thought was lost. This is kind of good. Let's take a look at the line history. Here we have the Bulls opening up at +2.5 -102. They're +2.5 -103. No movement. From a total side of things, it opened up at 230.5. It's now at 231. And it's still slightly juiced to the over. Take a look at the cash flow for Bulls Pacers. We have 8,203 tickets in. 61% of the tickets and 77% of the cash is on the Pacers, but the market's not moving towards them. 74% of tickets and 86% of cash is on the under, but the market's gone up a little bit. What up, Dante Mack? Thank you for joining us. Chicago playing at the pace 100.9 possessions a game over the past 5, 1-4, and the Pacers down to 97.40 possessions a game. Bulls coming off their 4 straight loss, 191 at home versus Orlando on Monday. In the 3 of these 4 games, they haven't scored over 91 points. They've shot 20.8% from 3 over their past 5 games. They went 3 of 21 against Orlando. So DeMar DeRozan dealing with the right hip injury. He said we know it's been bothering him for a month. He said he's never felt anything like it. He's like, he can't even explain what's going on, but that's a bad sign. Obviously, kept him in Chicago instead of being moved at the trade deadline. He's not gone over 20 in 4 straight games, and he's not playing. The Pacers coming out their 5th straight loss, 123-117 at home versus Utah on Monday night. 5 in a row they've lost. 16 of 18 they've lost. One of those wins did come against the Bulls, 116-110 back on January 24th. Tyrese goes for 30 and 12, shot 50% from the field. Mathurin, 21 points in 32 minutes, continues to play well. And we can expect Miles Turner, if he's dealing with lower back soreness, to get a break here. I think he can. And Buddy Hield coming off a 2 from 11 game from deep. Have to think that he rights the ship quickly because shooters shoot. He's a shooter. Take it away for us here, LJ. Bulls, Pacers.
Yeah, another game that I can't pick a side because both these teams are under 500. Both of them are on a losing streak, more than 4 games. So those are key rules to me. If you're on a losing streak and you're below 500, I don't think I can invest my money in you. That's just a simple rule for me. So, but I did key a prop. But let's get to the numbers. You already mentioned DeRozan's out. The Bulls are 11-6-1 ATS in their last 18 games, so they have been successful in that area. But they are 8-2 to the under last 10 first half as well. So a lot of points haven't been scored lately. As you know, I guess they've been playing a lot of defensive teams that has been hindering their perimeter success. But the Pacers, they're 12-7 at home versus the East, so they do play well in this situation. But we already know their horrible streak in the first quarter, 8-22-1 ATS first quarter home, 41 ATS losses in the first quarter. So you can't trust them in that situation at all. You already mentioned they're missing Miles Turner, their best leading rebounder. So for that reason, I'm just going to stick to Vucevic. He's been cashing his PRA, his rebounds, pretty handily the last couple of weeks. So let's just jump back on Vucevic rebounds over to 12 and a half. He's had 6 out of the last 9. He's hit 13. And the centers that have played the Pacers in these last couple of games, Markkanen had 11 last night. Porzingis had 10 with a double-double. Jared Allen had 13. Ayton had 11. Sabonis had 16. Davis had 14. So they're vulnerable down low when they get the rebounds. So if Miles Turner's out, who's going to get the rebounds and clean up the balls on the Pacers side of the ball? So I think Vucevic should have a good rebounding game. So I'm just going to take his prop. But as far as a side, I'm just going to stay away because both these teams are trending low. So can't do it.
Yeah, that's a great breakdown. Robert Franklin looking at it too. Vucevic over 12.5 rebounds, minus 104. What did you get it at?
104.
Minus 104 too. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cashman saying Vucevic double minus 350. Says the probability of 12.5 should be good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good, but it's juice.
Yeah, but he's just saying that if it's minus 350 for him to get 10.
Oh yeah.
All you need is 3 more. Like I see what Cashman's looking at as well.
You can parlay it, pretty sure.
Yeah, well, he would never lay it. Like I don't think he's saying he would never bet a minus 350.
Oh.
He's just saying that if it's minus 350 to get 10, then they obviously are concerned about him getting,
Yeah, makes sense.
Razor Sharp Picks gave us that 7-1 double over at Gulfstream. The 7 wins. I do have some exciting news about horses too, and exciting news about live, but I'm just so filled with inner rage right now that I'm not going to talk about anything positive right now, but I'll mention it later on or at another time. I get the Vucevic over 12.5 boards. Great stuff. Razor Sharp Picks. We got more looks from our Wild Hound here in Champions League action. I'll leave that up for a little bit. I feel this is a tricky game. I wonder though, you have a team that's not scoring. We can't trust the Bulls to turn around their shooting, but you can expect the paint to be empty.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we go to line or the speed, they're not playing very fast. So I guess this is just a pretty sharp total at 231. I guess. Yeah. I mean, I would think that I wish I could trust I can't trust. Okay, let's just move on. I'm just going to. Okay. Let's move on. Usually when the paint's going to be empty, I kind of like overs, but you just can't trust. Joe Yerv says he's on the Pacers here. Bulls really struggling. The Pacers at home seems logical. I guess it does. They've lost 5 straight. Coming off the loss they've lost 16 of 18. And then, LJ's rule, and I think rules are so important, and the ones that I've stayed true to, and one is props, has been so beneficial for me staying off of props. But, not ever backing a team that has a 4 more game losing streak that's under 500. I mean, that just makes sense. So,
like, seriously, there's no science to that. That's just common sense to me. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Let's talk about some good basketball teams. Cleveland Cavaliers 38-22, 13-16 on the road at the Philadelphia 76ers, 37-19, 22-8 at home. Wells Fargo Center, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Cavs 7 straight wins. Both teams playing a very slow pace. So let's talk about a couple things here, and then we'll talk about something that I would have done and we'll see how it bangs out. But first off, the Cavs open up at +2.5. They're now +1. So a 1.5 point move towards the Cavaliers. Totals wise, it's opened up at 217. It dropped to 216.5. These teams are playing at a very slow pace. Over the past 5 games, Cleveland 5-0 playing at a pace 94.3 possessions game. Philadelphia 3-2 playing at a pace 93.80 possessions game. Usually, I would have just bet the under 217. That was available for me last night because of how slow they're playing. And it has dropped a half point, 216.5. But look, it's not working. Look, what I'm doing is not working. And I looked a little closer. 4 of the last 5 Sixers home games have gone over. So on the road, they're playing just tighter, better defensive ball. At home, they're opening things up. Things are opened up at home. So at Wells Fargo lately, it's just if you are betting these unders, you're losing. So that just took me off of the spot. Let's take a look at the cash flow here. We have 10,598 tickets in. 41% of the tickets, 91% of the cash on Cleveland. 2.5 to 1. Wow. And then 58% of tickets, 66% cash on the over. I guess I agree with it but let's talk it out. Cavs come off their 7th straight win, 117-109 at home for San Antonio on Monday. Wasn't a very good, they didn't play very well. Spider went for 41, but Jarrett 17-11, Garland 16-7, Mobley 15-10, but they weren't going that hard. Danny Green going to sign with the team here at some point. Sixers coming off their 3rd straight win Monday, 123-104 at home versus the Rockets. Harden 28-10. Huge difference is Maxey. All of a sudden, he's playing like we remember him from last year. He's 26-6-5. He's so fast. Embiid goes for 23. McDaniels is in. They have signed Dwayne Dedmon. He's expected to be available. I don't know how long he's going to play. Take it away for us here, LJ. Cavs, Sixers.
Yeah, Jimmy, this is going to be a good game right here. Very, very good game. Both these teams are fighting for that 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference. So it's very important who wins this game. Let's start off with the Cavs. Won 7 in a row. 13-7 in the last 20. They've won 10 out of the last 13 games. 8 out of the last 10. 22-10 in the conference. Sixers, they're 12-5 and 1 straight up in their last 18 in the first quarter. So this is where they have success. But the Cavs are 8-2 in their last 10 ATS first quarter. So that's a wash for me. Now the first half is where it could get interesting because the Sixers are 3-7 ATS in their last 10 in the first half, only averaging 53 points in their last 3 games. The Cavs are 8-2 straight up in their last 10 and ATS in the first half. So, but they're 8-2 last 10 first half under. And you just mentioned that all the cash is on the over. Is that what you said, or the under?
Yeah, on the over, 58% of the tickets and 66% of the cash.
Wow, because I disagree. I believe that this game is going to go under. I already bet the 217 last night, simply for the simple fact that Cleveland, like you just mentioned, has been playing at one of the slowest paces in the league, and they're Cleveland and Phoenix are the 2 best under teams in the league, hands down. First half and full game for the most part, but first half for sure. So I'm going to take a shot on the first half under 110.5, and I already told you I took the under 217 full game. I just believe that the Cavs can play defense tonight. They can hold the 76ers, limit their possessions. Now, we do know the 76ers record at home, 17-3 in their last 20 games at home. They are 7-3 versus this division, 7-3 in their last 10. So they're playing well, and they're 5-1 straight up in their last 6 home games versus the Cavs. But that first half, their last 5 games have had a total of 111. Cavs have held their 8 out of their last 13 opponents under 50 points in the first half. So first half under, full game under, Jimmy, is my play, and I'm going to sit back and watch this game because I think it's going to be fun.
Look, I totally with you. But going over their past few home games, Houston's playing at a very slow pace. What are they playing? Because they're playing tonight, right?
Yes, OKC.
OKC, yeah. So, 99.7 possessions game. I guess that's not nearly as slow. But 127 points scored on Monday night at home. 127 points scored with the Knicks. The Knicks and that was at home. Of course, we're just going over the home spots. I'm just talking this out because Knicks are playing at the pace of 93.4 possessions a game. 93.4 possessions a game, but at the house in Philadelphia, that game soared over. Then the Orlando.
But you also have to look at this, Jim. You have to look at this too. The Rockets and the Knicks and teams like that, they shoot with like 20 or 15 seconds on a shot clock. They don't use the whole shot clock as a possession. The Cavs do that. They'll take that whole possession to get a great possession and try to get a good shot. So I think that they're going to limit the 76ers possessions because they play defense. So I think it's a little bit different concepts on the teams.
I hear you. I hear you. But the Knicks are playing at a slower pace than the Cavs. So it's not like they're, putting it up. Look, I hear that was my initial thought was with you, was with the under. I just seeing these.
It's going to be a deep. I think this is going to be like a playoff type atmosphere. I really believe. I believe both these teams will be in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's my prediction. Cavs and 76ers. So I think we're going to get a preview tonight of what could come.
Which of these teams knocks the Bucks out?
Probably the Cavs.
Wow. Well, okay.
Probably the
First
Cavs.
half under. Let's line shop for you here. Oh, look at that. Wildhound's going to be going to the Arsenal Man City game in North London. Wow, that's so much fun. Enjoy it, my man. Okay, let's grab this right now. So you have Cavs, Sixers. We're going to go line shop for the first half under. The best line we can get you for the first half under is 111. So Betcris and Bookmaker have moved it up. They're the only books that have moved it up to 111, and they're sharp ones. Full game here. Let's move over there. Full game is at 216 and a half. But I bet you, let's just go to Pinnacle because they're unders. They're juiced to the over now. So let's move over there to get you the best line. See what that 217 would cost here. The under 217 is minus 111. So we'll give you that. Under 217 at minus.
Beautiful.
Under 217 minus 111. I don't think I want to. There's our guy Razor Sharp Picks gifting a Pub Sports Radio membership. Thank you, man. You are a good man. Res Mob couldn't have gone to a better guy. I love it. And I am losing. So I mean, maybe the best thing for you to hear is that I think I like the over. But I don't know. Okay, let's leave it at that right now. But LJ's moved on the first half under and the full game under, getting 111 and 217 respectively. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. The team we were just speaking of, the New York Knicks, 32 and 27, 16 and 12 on the road at the Atlanta Hawks, 29 and 29, 15 and 11 at home at State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. Take a look at the line history for this one. We have the Knicks opening up at plus 2.5. They're now at plus 3.5. That last move came an hour and 20 minutes ago. From a totals scenario, they opened up at 234 and is now at 233.5. By the way, interesting. I was scrolling up. I saw that Joe Yurkovich does think that Miles Turner will play. So that, I mean, if you're getting this number and Turner's in, you're laughing. With the lower back injury, I don't know how you don't take the opportunity to give him rest. And that $25 double to the one at Gulf pays $592. Let us know, Razor, when does that pop off here? Because I would love to call that for you, get you in for that one. Rob Free locked in the Cavs money line plus 120 last night. It's a Sixer spot, but I think Cleveland makes a statement tonight. Jonathan says 76ers are winning the East. It's the 76th season. So Jim Atria there. And then when I mentioned Milwaukee, I should have mentioned the Celtics. I didn't even mention the Celtics. But BJ said going to be Boston, Milwaukee. Says Philly Cavs not making no noise in the Eastern Conference playoffs. I'm excited about the Eastern Conference playoffs.
Yeah, I doubt that.
I'm excited. All right, but let's go back to this Knicks Hawks spot. We're at State Farm. Knicks 4-1, playing pace 93.4 possessions game. Atlanta 2-3 over the past 5, playing pace of 103. .00 possessions game. Let's take a look at the cash flow here for them. We have 5,120 tickets in, 45% of the tickets, 77% of the cash on the Knicks. Then 52% of the tickets and 87% of the cash on the under. 52 and 87 on the under, and it's dropped a half point here. Knicks coming off their second straight win, 124-106 at home over Brooklyn on Monday. Randall playing very well. He'll be at the All-Star game. Brunson will not. He had 40 against Brooklyn. He's averaging 23.9 points, 6.2 assists, looking very good. Josh Hart, ton of heart, ton of character. He's looking very good. Scored 27 against the Nets. The Hawks had their 2-game winning streak snapped in a 144-138 loss to Charlotte on Monday. Just played no defense at all. Sadiq Bey went for 12 and 5. John Collins missed with a hip flexor, and I don't know why. Obviously, I don't think he'll be back for this one. And take it away for us here, LJ. Knicks, Hawks.
Yes, sir. Let me close this window. We want to start doing landscaping now. Yes, Knicks and Hawks, Jimmy. These teams played January 20. They played 3 times already, I believe. And the Knicks have lost 2 out of the 3. So very, very feisty series right here. But the Knicks, we already know their record. First half is where they're successful. They're 40-18-1 ATS in the first half. But they're 3-4 straight up in their last 7 in the first half. So they haven't been doing very well in this spot. Little bit of digression there. But the Hawks, they are 7-4 in their last 11 first quarter. 12-5 straight up in their last 17. So they've had success coming out in the first quarter. But the first half, they're 5-7-1 straight up in their last 13, 3-7 ATS in their last 10. So they digress in the first half by going back into that second quarter. So I really was back and forth with this game, Jimmy, because these two teams, they punch each other in the mouth when they play each other. It always comes down to like the last possessions. I dove into the numbers the last couple of games, and I just couldn't come to a definitive side. But the Hawks 4-1 in the last straight up in the first quarter at home is where I'm going to probably lean. I haven't came to the bet yet because I just don't see how these teams are going to react. Like I said, it's coming into the All-Star break. Julius Randle is an All-Star, I believe. So how invested is he going to want to play in this game? And like I just mentioned, they've already played 3 times. So it looks to me that Atlanta does have the advantage, but I'm just going to stay off and just stick to what's been working for me. And I'm jumping back on a prop. Jalen Brunson, over 26.5 points, -106, because he's averaging 32 points in his last 6 games. I don't see him digressing anytime soon, and he probably has a chip on his shoulder because I believe he was snubbed from the All-Star game. So I believe that's in the back of his mind. He has his buddy back with him, Josh Hart from college. So I think the backcourt locker room is vibing. So I don't want to step in front of that. But also, like I said, the Hawks play well at home, and they tend to play well versus the Knicks. This is a rivalry game. So I'm just going to stay away and just stick to the prop. Brunson over 26.5 points.
Over 26.5 points. What's the juice on that?
-106.
Were the Hawks looking ahead sort of to this matchup with the Knicks? Do they step up defensively after looking absolutely atrocious? And if they do, then this total is too high.
Mm-hmm.
But do we expect them to step up defensively in the game before the All-Star break?
That's the question. Like, how can we gauge it? I just can't. I can't trust my money. I want to. I believe they should, but trusting our money with it usually doesn't work out when we feel they should. So that's just my opinion.
Taint play of the day is in SC Upstate. We're going to talk about that when we talk about college basketball with our guy, Dabby Cab. Joe Jurgovich moved on the Cab Sixers under 217. So he's rolling with LJ on that. And that, I mean, if you're just focusing on pace, I mean, yeah, of course it's got to go under, but I don't know. I don't know. But if it's a playoff type atmosphere, then it will go under. It's a very, very interesting one. Let's move on. I'm interested in the under 233.5 in Knicks Hawks. I'm interested in it. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. 7:30 p.m. Eastern, Detroit Pistons, Boston Celtics. This was such a simple move on the under, but they didn't put it out last night.
Mm-mm.
So this wasn't available till 8 this morning. I'm fucking capping my ass off, and I missed it. And it just, as soon as it came out, it just started dropping like a fucking rock, and I just couldn't. It was just, I was very angry, and but if you have to be keeping a very close eye for when these things become available. This became available around 8:30 this morning. Detroit opening up at plus 7.5. They're now plus 8.5. This total opened up at 227.5. It lasted there for 13 minutes before it became 226.5. Then 14 minutes later, it was 226. And then 20 minutes later, it was 225. And then 53 minutes later, it was 224. And that's where it sticks right now. Slightly juiced to the over. And then cash-wise here for this one, we have... here we go. We have... That's wrong. Oh, here we go. So this is the only team that's been given any kind of legit line value. It's the Pistons. They're given full line value from Sports Insights. 3,515 tickets in, 44% of the tickets, 90% of the cash, and market's not moving towards them. Then you have 37% of tickets and 94% of cash on the under. Huge bets came in on the under right away. Cashman says whiteout, Tatum, a big question mark. Horford probably doesn't play, and Pistons play C's well. I'm a big C's fan, but not sure here until I say who's in and who's out. Who's in and who's out. So let's move over here. Detroit playing at a pace, very slow pace. It's remember we were saying like how on earth is Casey handling this team playing at 105 possessions a game? They've legitimately dropped 9 possessions a game. So Casey was like, I can't. Casey's like, I'm gonna have a heart attack if I watch this shit. They're not smoking in the locker room like they did back when Kentucky was playing their big pro basketball. Casey was a kid. That was when Casey was a kid, watching them smoke cigars and cigarettes in the locker room afterwards. But Casey just can't handle that shit. They've slowed it down. Boston 4-1, 98.06 possessions a game as well. So Detroit followed up their double overtime win at home over San Antonio with a tough 119-118 loss at Raptors Sunday. They're playing good ball. Bogdanovich, 33 points in the loss. Burks 21, Diallo, Ivy 18, Bogdanovich playing good basketball. They did commit 16 turnovers. Jalen Duren injured his right ankle in the second quarter. So he scored 30 against San Antonio. I don't know what the status is on Duren right now. Then you have the Celtics on the second half of back-to-back after having their 4-game winning streak snapped in 131-125 overtime loss in Milwaukee last night. How are you going to get any energy from the Celtics? They played their hearts out against the Bucks, and now we're expecting. So Tatum didn't make the trip. Tatum unlikely to play. So you have Jaylen Brown facial fracture; he's not playing. Marcus Smart ankle, Al Horford knee. The starting lineup: Derek White, Sam Hauser, Mike Muscala, Grant Williams, and Blake Griffin. A White went for 27 and 12. Brogdon came off the bench to score 26. Take it away for us here. Pistons, Celtics, LJ.
Yeah, Jimmy, I got a note right here. When I came to this game, I wrote it down. Don't know who's playing for Boston. That's exactly what I wrote down. So I stopped right there and I said, okay, how can I make some money? Because Detroit is awful, especially in the first quarter. 5-16 ATS in their last 21 games in the first quarter, which is horrible. And they're 6-14 in their last 20 games. Straight up 6-26 in the conference. So, hey, I don't see how I could have made any money off this game. So I was going to pass, Jimmy, but I was like, wait, hold on. Bogdanovich, how many points has he been averaging? Oh, 20-plus points, 5 out of his last 6 games, 30-plus points in the last 2. So you know what, Jimmy? We're going to stay on the money train. Bogdanovich, over 21.5 points, minus 117 is the only way that you can make any money in this game. We don't know who's playing for Boston and Detroit. They have a lot of key injuries as well. So I'm not interested in any type of value in this game besides Bogdanovich. So you can mark me down for his point prop, and we can get off this game because it's a pretty much, like Dutch say, heavy backwoods, sir.
So you got, what was the number and juice for Bogdanovich?
Over 21.5 points, minus 117.
Minus 117 on Bogdanovich. Yeah, that makes sense here. Without a doubt, makes sense. I just great work for everyone who got the 9.5s, and I guess you're right now down to 7.5.
Yeah, and like you just mentioned, they exerted so much energy last night. Went into overtime, and thank God for Hauser with that three at the end of the fourth, because Giannis was missing free throws and he wasn't cashing his points on PRA last night. So it went into overtime. So thank you, Mr. Hauser, for sending it into overtime so we could cash Giannis's PRA last night, because he had a horrible free throw shooting night last night.
I don't like watching him play anymore. To be honest, like when he shoots from the perimeter, I'd lose my mind.
Why? Why?
Yeah.
Makes no sense, Jimmy. Of why are you pulling up from the three, Giannis? What are you going to do with that? Even if that goes in, what's the higher probability of you doing that again? Come on, Giannis.
It's atrocious. I don't understand how. Look, I know that the 7.5 is trash, but how is Boston going to ratchet it up again? It's got to be so difficult to do that. But I mean, can I take a 7.5 and sure they lose by 8 and all my friends cash and then I'm the asshole?
Right?
Yeah. Okay. I still think that Ugh. Okay. Let's move on here. Move on. Leonard saying the Celtics have consistently won games when they don't play Tatum, Brown, Smart, Horford, scary. Yeah, they're the real deal. Let's move on. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Miami Heat 32-26, 13-16 on the road. The Brooklyn Nets 33-24, 17-11 at home at Barclays Center. Miami 3-2 over the past 5, playing the pace 95.31 possessions a game. Brooklyn 1-4, playing the pace 97.50 possessions a game. Of course, I was like, you got to bet. Gulf ready to load for our guy, Razor Sharp Picks. So Razor has is double going to the one. $25 double paying. I think he said just under $600. I've got it up here, so we'll call the race in for our guy Razor. While we're waiting for them to load, let's fire away here with this one. So this was another one where it's like, of course the under it's got to be the under, but again, It was not available to bet last night. It came out this morning and it just got destroyed immediately to the under. Spread-wise, it's opened up with Miami -1. Now they're +1. That's simple. Totals-wise, this opened up at 217 at 8:02 in the morning. By 9:05 and by 9:07 in the morning, it was 213. It just got absolutely destroyed, which it should have. I get it, but God, that is frustrating. There's Brothers and Bets in the house. Great to see you, Brothers and Bets. Can't wait to hang out in San Antonio. Oh, shit. Sorry, that's the HPI. Let's move over to the cash flow for this one. Miami, Brooklyn, 7,133 tickets in. 37% of the tickets, 67% of cash on Brooklyn. Markets move towards Brooklyn. 56% of the tickets and 90% cash on the under. I mean, I could have even got it at 214. Like, that was when I was, like, so angry watching it move the other way. And Brothers Bet saying, yes, sir, we will be there. Jose has the link to sign up for everything. Here, we'll pop it up on the top of our chat. So do sign up for all the events. They're going to be incredible. Of course, the Slap Fest at the strip club, it's off the event list. We just know we're all going to be there. That's all. Miami had their 3-game winning streak snapped on 112-108 loss at home to Denver on Monday. Kyle Lowry sore left knee. Victor Oladipo ankle. Tyler Hero knee bruise. We're not expecting any of them to be back. Butler went for 24. Strus went for 23. Bam went for 19. Also a season low 2 rebounds. So interesting. Nets coming off their second straight loss, 124-106 at the Knicks on Monday. They were 27-13 when KD was hurt. I mean, imagine what we see from them now. What a change. They're 6-11 in the 17 games since, but they're going to fall out of the playoff race we expect. They won 116-105 on Thursday, but since then, trouble scoring. Dinwiddie went for 28 in the opening half, but they just stopped scoring in the second half. So we're going to call this horse race very quickly at Gulfstream Park for Razor and for Cashman here. And then our guy LJ will take over. So LJ will take over and finish off the breakdown here for Heat of Brooklyn Nets. Heat Nets. And the biggest story is that the Nets have gone from dog to favorite, but we should probably go over that money line here. We have a mile and a 16th claiming race here on the turf, and our guy Razor Sharp Picks is on the one dominate the moment. For those thoroughbred fans watching right now, I do have some exciting news. We're going live on March 4th for the Fountain of Youth. We're going live on April 1st for the Florida Derby. And then we're going live again on April 8th for the Santa Anita Derby. So we're going to have 3 full race days. The one dominate the moment for, and then of course we're going to have the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont. So we have 6 race days basically in the next 2.5 months or so. The 2 Tapational out of Tappet, I imagine. I don't have that in front of me. In the one Razors dominate the moment, sitting in second. That opening quarter was up in 23.29 seconds. That half 47-3. Moving through halfway through the race, and Razors one dominate the moment with Joel Rosario in a nice ground saving trip on the inside. Will our guy Razor Sharp Picks pick up a quick $600 here right now? That is the question. Rosario sort of trapped here, needing to find room, but looks like he's got a lot of horse moving into the stretch, still with that ground saving trip. Now will dominate the moment, get a chance to blow past the opposition here. He's looking to get up the inside, and he's got the opportunity to go, and he's being told by Rosario to push. But it's not going to have enough. Or is he fighting back late? Look at that. Oh, wow. There goes the 7 Journeyman to win. Razor's horse comes third. But, man, that's a nice look from our Razor Sharp Picks. So back to this line history here. I just want to touch on the money line movement, because that will give us a better idea of what the +1 to -1 and all that is. The money line was very little. So there's been very little movement. There had been some bigger one. The Heat opened up at -110. They were at +107 at 11:10 this morning. Now they're back at -105. So it seems like there's some buyback on the Heat. Take it away for us right now, LJ. Miami Heat, Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, Jimmy, I was in the same situation. That under wasn't on the line last night, and I wanted to hit it hard because I capped this as an under game. But the line has moved too much. I missed it. So I'll revert you for that. But as far as the side, the Heat 12-5 ATS in their last 17 on the road versus the Nets. So they have success versus this team, but that was with, KD, Kyrie. They had different players on the team. Not to say that it's going to be a difference now, but I just feel that they were getting up for that competition with those stars on that team. But, now they're playing a Nets team that's 7-11 ATS in the last 18 first half, 5-9 straight up in the last 14. Both these teams are averaging lower hundreds. Nets averaging 106 in their last 3. The Heat are averaging 104 in their last 3. So the under should hit, but I'm going to stay off now because we missed it. It's heavily been bet, so I understand what the public is doing. So, but I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to stick to a prop. Both these teams are on losing streaks, so I can't see any one of these teams to win and break it. So let's just stick with the prop. I'm going to jump on Spencer Dinwiddie over 18.5 points -115. I believe that is way too low because he's going to be the leading scorer for that team now. So he's had 25 plus in the 2 games with the Nets so far. And you still have the number at 18. That's giving us free money. So jump on Spencer Dinwiddie over 18.5 points until they raise that number to 20 plus, because he's going to have to be the production of this team. They have nobody else. I mean, you got Bridges. He could be a nice little piece for them, but I just believe the offense is going to be heavily ran through Spencer Dinwiddie. He can create his own shot. He can get to the lane, get fouls, get possessions with free throws. So he's going to be the guy for this team for the most part. And as far as the side, like I said, I just stayed off. I can't trust it. I'm waiting to after the All-Star break for these rosters to get more acclimated for us, Brooklyn, because they just got some new pieces in Miami. We never know who's playing. They have a lot of key pieces out. I won't be mad at Jimmy Butler's points too, over 22.5. He's hit it 6 out of the last 9. But I'm definitely going to take the prop. 2+ steals, minus 167. I know it's juice, but he's hit this prop 4 out of his last 5 games on the road. He's averaging 2.5 steals on the road on the season. So 2+ steals for Jimmy Butler, Spencer Dinwiddie, over 18.5 points are my 2 props for this game.
Okay, so Dinwiddie over 18.5 points. What was the juice on that?
Minus 115.
Minus 115. And then you're moving, is Butler official pick as well or no?
Yes, Butler, 2+ steals.
Cool. You got
Yep, minus 167.
You got, if I give you a free $500 bet on this side, if someone gave it to me, I would take the Brooklyn Nets here. I find it hard to believe Miami's going to put in enough effort here right before the break. If you had a free $500 bet, who are you moving on?
I will move on the next 2. I just think they're more feisty. And like I said, they have more to prove. And the Heat, like you just mentioned, what motivation do they have? You know, and they're also 5-9 on the road versus the East. So they don't play well in these spots. So, yeah, I would definitely take the Nets.
I'm very interested in the Nets here on this one. But let's move on to the next spot on the board. We still have 10 NCAA games to break down. 8 p.m. Eastern, Utah Jazz 29-30, 11-18 on the road at the Memphis Grizzlies, 34-22, 23-5 at home. We're at FedEx Forum, Memphis, Tennessee. Utah 2-3 over their past 5, playing at the pace of 100.3 possessions a game. Memphis playing at a very similar pace, also 2-3, 100.4 possessions a game. Going to the line history, this opened up with the Jazz plus 7.5. Jazz are now plus 9.5. Wow, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. This total opens up at 239.5. It went up to 240. Then it dropped back down to 238.5. Let's take a look at the cash call. Yeah, foosball champ. I can't win them all, but I can hit at 57.5% and be up with the ROI over 10% over entire football season, 105 wins and 79 losses. You know what else I could do if you were closer to me? Well, take out a sharpened chopstick and just slice a little bit right there on your neck. Then I would tie you up. I would tie you up like this. Watch it slowly bleed out. Slowly bleed out. Then I would take a dump. Not a Mexican tap water dump, a real healthy dump. And I would place it on a bag.
Oh.
I would put a rope on it. Oh. And I would put it right on the bridge of your nose. And I would pull it up. And I would put it right down on the bridge of your nose. And I would pull it up. I would do that over and over and over and over again. While I cash double-digit ROI on my football season. Foosball.
There you go.
While you are blowing your buddies playing foosball, my ROI is double digits in NFL. All right. Jazz come in. Oh, let's go over to the cash flow here. Must really impress the bitches, eh? Telling them you're a foosball champ. Ooh-wee. You must be the man. Jazz, Memphis, 7,693 tickets in. 69% of tickets, 93% of cash. And also, not only did I lose, but I tweeted out that I lost, of course, like I do. Didn't hide it from anybody. Tweeted out my record like I do. Instead of hiding behind moniker called the foosball champ, calling me out. And suck my dick. Back to this Jazz Grizzlies spot. 7,693 tickets in. 69% of the tickets, 93% of the cash on the Grizzlies. 72% of cash on the under. Jazz coming off their second win in 3 games, 123, 117 Pacers on Monday. Marking in 24.9 points, 8.6 boards, 29 and 11 in the win over the Pacers. Clarkson, 29. Grizzlies had their 2-game winning streak snapped in a 119-109 loss to the Celtics. Ja Bain playing well. Jaren Jackson playing well. They bring in Luke Kennard. I don't know how the Clippers got rid of that contract. But Steven Adams about to miss his 11th straight game. Brandon Clark, Aldama, Tillman. How are they going to hold off Markkanen and Kessler? I'm shocked that there's all the sharp action on the Grizzlies because I was like, well, Kessler and Markkanen are going to have a field day. Take it away for us here, LJ. Jazz, Grizzlies.
Yeah, I'm with the Sharps as well, but I'm not full game, though. I'm taking the Grizzlies where they have the most success all season. First half, minus 4.5 is what I'm on, Jimmy. The Jazz are 7-12 on the road versus the West. They're allowing 118 points on the road. And the over has hit 10 out of the last 11 games in this matchup. So I believe a lot of points will be scored. And I tend to agree with you far as without Adams, marketed, and Kessler, they should have their way inside. But Memphis is, they're feisty inside as well. They can rebound and, they could be up for the competition tonight because they at home. And when they're at home, Jimmy, versus the West, 11-3. So very successful in this spot. 17-3 straight up in their last 20 games at home. So we're catching the Grizzlies off a loss as well. 3-7 in their last 10. So they're fighting for a win right now, and I believe they will get it. They're averaging 118 points at home on the season, only allowing 108. So that's a plus 10 right there margin. Last three opponents, they've held them to an average of 100 points. So I believe that Memphis will come out of this game very, very successful. I think they're going to win. 19-8-1 ATS in the first half at home. Like I just mentioned, their first half home record. So I'm just going to stick to that. First half, -4.5 for the first half. And of course, I'm jumping on the prop, Jimmy, and we're going to start this slogan today. My Trill OG play of the day.
Ooh.
Shout out to Pimp C and Bun B. Port Arthur's finest, but way of H-Town. We already know who they are.
All right.
Trill OG play of the day, Jimmy. Jared Jackson, over 3.5 blocks, plus 150, because he's leading the league in blocks at 3.5. He played this team January 8th. He had 5 blocks in the game. He's averaging 4 blocks in his last 5. So we're going to stick to this money train that's been cashed for me, as well as Nicholas Claxton. Now, everybody know I like Nicholas Claxton, but the fact that Kevin Durant has been traded, I believe he's probably going to veer off from hitting that prop every once in a while, because now they have to depend on him for offense and rebounding and things like that. So, it's other things he has to do. Jared Jackson, let's ride the money train, people. Over 3.5 blocks. Stay on it. I guarantee you it will cash eventually, every now and then, just take it. But as far as the side, first half, Jimmy, -4.5, Memphis all day long.
And what is keeping you off the total? It just the pace too slow for these teams at 100 possessions a game to comfortably get over 240.
Yeah, I'm uncomfortable because Memphis has been trending the under, but now you have Clarkson coming in, you got marketing, you got people that can shoot the three. And let's just say they get hot, in a quarter or so, and that could kill that total. So I'm not going to, especially if they're down at the end of the game in the fourth quarter. So they could probably try to shoot their way back into the game with the threes that they do, and then make that total go over. So I'm just going to stay off the side because I can't trust it. But first half.
Real OG play of the day, Jaren Jackson over 3.5 blocks at plus 150. Okay, let's keep rolling. Next up for us, 8 p.m. Eastern, Houston Rockets 13-44, 5-24 on the road at Oklahoma City Thunder, 27-29, 16-12 at home. Paycom Center in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Houston lost 6 straight over their past 5, playing at a pace of 99.7 possessions a game. Oklahoma City 3-2, playing at a pace of 102.20 possessions a game. Let's take a look at the line history for this Rockets spot here. We have the Rockets opening up as plus 9.5 dogs, now plus 10. Total wise, again, these are pinnacle openers. Total wise opened up at 235.5, now at 234.5. Let's take a look at the cash flow here for this one. We have slight line value on OKC, 4,407 tickets in, 68% of tickets, 87% of the cash on the Thunder. Then 91% of tickets, 89% of cash on the over. 91 and 89 on that over, and yet it's dropped a point and a half at least at most books. That's interesting. Rockets coming off their 6 straight loss, 123-104 at Philly on Monday night. They ship out Eric Gordon, Garrison Matthews, and Bruno Fernando at the trade deadline. 29th in the NBA with a 32.7% number from behind the arc from 3. And now they don't have Eric Gordon. So what's their 3-point shooting going to look like now? I mean, it's a mess. You have no KPJ, no Eric Gordon, and they were 6 of 24 from 3 in the loss to Philadelphia. I don't know how that changes. Thunder had their 2-game winning streak snapped in 103-100 loss at home to the Pelicans on Monday. We're down by 20 and it came all the way back, as they do. This team has a lot of character, enough character to fight hard in the final game of before the All-Star break. I mean, when Have the Thunder been 10-point favorites in the last 3 or 4 years? That's wild. Take it away for us here, LJ. Rockets, Thunder.
That's how bad the Rockets are, Jimmy. They're giving them a 10-point spread, and it has to do with the Rockets being on the road. If this was at home, it'll be a closer number because the Rockets play better at home. But on the road, they're horrible. 5-24 on the road, 3-16 on the road versus the West. So Oklahoma City is in a prime position to basically blow the Rockets out tonight. They already have played, I think, 3 times already this season, if I'm not sure, 2 or 3. But the Rockets usually get them at home. They play, like I just mentioned, they play better at home, and the Rockets are 4-1 ATS in the last 5 versus OKC. But 3 of those games have been in Toyota Center. When they go to OKC, Rockets can't even cover the spread. I mean, OKC 9-2 ATS straight up, and ATS and straight up in there as 11 versus the Rockets at home. So that's the difference right there. So I'm going to take OKC, Jimmy, minus the 10. I believe they're going to come out and destroy the Rockets. And also, I'm going to take Shea Gilgeous over 32.5 points, minus 114. And I'm going to take his 2+ steals plus 100 because the Rockets allow the most turnovers in the league, averaging 18 turnovers in their last 3 games, allowing 23 points off those turnovers. So the Rockets are horrible with the ball. I think OKC is going to have a monster game today. And the only way I think the Rockets can score is Jalen Green and Segun. But I always tell the people watching the Rockets, Jalen Green, he hogs the ball. He's looking for points. He's looking for stats. They don't rotate the ball. They don't run plays. Rockets are out there just free balling, just trying to get a shot, doing whatever they can. Now, they are a good rebounding team, so they get extra possessions, but it's not guaranteed that they're going to cash those possessions. So they're all over the place. So let's just take advantage of the sloppy play of the Rockets all season. 2+ steals, I'm telling you, at the guard position, it cashes every single game. Shea Gilgeous, 2+ steals, over 32.5 points, minus 114 is my play, and I'm on Oklahoma City for a game, minus the 10.
Shea steals. What was the juice at?
Plus 100.
Plus 100. Do you have any concern with what Lucas Ryan's saying that if it is a blowout for the Thunder, Shea might not play in the fourth quarter?
I mean, that is a concern, but it may not be that big of a blowout till at the end, like fourth quarter, because the Rockets are feisty. They try to stay in the game. So I won't be surprised if they, it may be like a 10-point lead going into the fourth, somewhere around there. I'm not saying it's going to be 20 points going into the fourth, but I just believe Shea is just he's going to use this backcourt up because they have nobody else besides Jalen Green. And if Jalen Green gets in foul trouble, we have nobody coming out there again. So it's going to be a long day for the Rockets. And I think Oklahoma City loves playing them at home, considering they're 9-2 ATS in their last 11. So minus the 10. I'm taking it.
Ugh. Wow, Von Polo, I didn't realize you had 500 on it. I'm happy you cashed that, man. Tails with no vig, man. I can't believe it. Great job, Rob, beating all the market moves last night. Cavs, Indy, and Boise State money lines locked in. Interesting. There you. We got you locked in here. God, this total. I mean, if the Rockets can't hit threes, I gotta. How do I? Oh, I know you are, Lucas. No, these are important. Quite like we're just capping together. They're important questions. How do the Rockets put up points? Let's just take a quick look at the Rockets' last few games. In saying this, I can't take the Thunder as this big of a favorite, but I can understand it. So the Rockets have scored 104, 95 in their last 2 games on the road. This game 3 on the road. They did put up 121 in that loss to OKC 11 days ago. 153, 121. Ugh. All right. Okay. All right, let's move on. Next up for us, 9 p.m. Eastern, Dallas Mavericks, 31-28, 12-18 on the road. Denver Nuggets, 40-18, 26-4 home. We're at Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. This is going to be a beauty. Take a look at the line movement. This opened up with Dallas plus 5.5. They're now plus 4.5. Totals wise, it's opened up at 232. It's now at 233.5. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this one. This one has 5,400 tickets in. 36% of the tickets, 68% of the cash is on Denver. Big bet's coming on Denver, but the line moving away from them. Now plus 4.5. 22% of the tickets and 63% of cash on the under. And yet this total's gone up. So market being very confusing here. Dallas playing 97.27 possessions game. Denver 100.9 over the past 5. Mavs coming off their second straight loss, 124-121 at home to Minnesota on Monday. They've lost both games with Luka and Kyrie in the lineup. Doncic goes for 33. Kyrie went for 36. And LaMarcus Aldridge, God, I mean,
really?
I can bang down low with LaMarcus Aldridge.
Really, right? That's what they're resulting to? LaMarcus Aldridge?
Yeah, he's working out with he worked out with Dallas yesterday. Hard to imagine. He just stopped banging in the paint. I don't. He stopped for years. There was times where he was averaging like 2 rebounds a game near the end of his career. Hard to imagine. But Nugget, maybe I don't know. Nuggets coming off their second straight win, 112-108 at Miami. Denver got Jokic scoring 27, 12, and 8, but no Jamal Murray and no Aaron Gordon. Murray's missed 5 games with the right knee inflammation. He's not going to play here. I don't have that in front of me, but I don't know how in the world you wouldn't want to give him some legit rest over the break. And they're both listed as questionable right now. Gordon's missed 2 games with a left rib contusion. He's got a sore shoulder. I don't know why he would play. Reggie Jackson just signed with the Nuggets. Take it away for us here, LJ. A big one here. Mavericks Nuggets.
Yeah, it's a good one. Denver, we already know at home, monster versus the West. 18-2 at home versus the West. 20-1 straight up in the last 21 games at home. 15-5 straight up in the first quarter versus the West at home. And we already know Dallas first quarter, they come out 10-4-1 last 15 first quarter over. So both these teams put up points in the first quarter. Dallas is averaging 64 points in the first half their last 3 games, but we know their horrible ATS record on the road in the first half, 10-18-2. So I don't believe that they can cover that first half spread. But far as Denver, they're 15-9 ATS in the last 24 in the first half. So they should cover that first half spread. But that's not where I'm going to put my money. I'm going to put my money where I've been cashing as of late, and I'm going to keep cashing it. We're going to take the first quarter over 60 because Dallas has hit that first quarter over in their last 5 road games. 66, 70, 66, 62, 63 have been the totals of their first quarter, their last 5 road games. Denver, first quarter, last 4, 63, 69, 66, and 67 have been the totals of their last 4 first quarter over. So that's my play, Jimmy. First quarter over 60, Dallas and Denver. And I'm just going to let the full game just pass because I believe Denver can win the game. I believe they can cover the spread. But you just say Gordon is out. You just said Murray's out. Those are key pieces that will convince me to take them on the side. But I don't like taking teams that don't have their starters. Like usually 1 starter going, I don't take them. But 2 starters? Nah, I'm going to pass. I'm just going to get my money where I've been successful. I believe points will be scored in the first quarter. I don't know who wins the first quarter, but I do believe that total will hit 60.
First quarter over 60 and minus 108. This one is tricky. Very, very tricky game. I would like to believe that the Mavericks, will win their first game with Luka and Kyrie on the floor together, but do you want to fade the Nuggets at home? 26-4 at home, and the spread now down to 4.5. So this game can be tied with a minute left, and if the Nuggets take a 2 or 3 point lead and a foul, and then all of a sudden they cover. Very difficult today. Lucky Lefty shouting out our guy LJ, and he's on the first quarter over 60 here at minus 108. Move on to the final spot on our card today before college basketball. 10 p.m. Eastern. New Orleans Pelicans 30-28, 10-18 on the road. At LA Lakers 26-32, 13-14 at home. We're crypto in Los Angeles, California. Pelicans 4-1 over the past 5, playing a slow pace. 96.80 possessions a game. Lakers 1-4, playing at a fast pace, 104.6 possessions a game. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. Lakers opening up at -3.5 and now -4. Total wise, this opened up at 234.5 and it's now dropped a half point to 234. So not a ton of movement. Slight move towards the Lakers at home. Take a look at the cash flow. 3,235 tickets in. 34% of tickets, 39% of cash on the Pelicans. 50-50 on the total, so no real help there. Equinum saying, is LBJ playing? I doubt it. I mean...
No, Darvin Ham said he's going to play tonight.
Oh, he did? Really? Well, okay.
Yeah,
so LBJ,
he said he expects to play.
I guess you have to... Again, with the All-Star game coming up, maybe, but I guess they're showing the importance of this basketball game. I kind of like it. I kind of like that he's playing. Yeah, he hasn't played since breaking the record, slow jams. Pelicans bounced back from their 118-107 home loss to the Cavs by winning 103-100 at OKC on Monday. BI went for 34, 14-24 shooting. McCollum missed the game with a sprained right ankle. Lakers coming off their fourth loss in 5 games, 127-115 at Portland on Monday. So LBJ will be back, according to Darvin Ham. AD went for 19 points and 20 boards, but Dame went for 40, and that was the game. Take it away for us here, LJ. Final game on the board, Pelicans-Lakers.
Yeah, we just got an update. Tatum is in tonight for Boston with the illness.
Tatum is in. That's huge news. Thank you for sharing that with us. So Tatum is in for the Celtics. Wow. Okay.
Say Marcus Smart, too, not on the injury report, or Horford.
Wow. So all 3 are in?
That's what is coming up right now.
Holy shit. Okay, let me.
Not on injury report.
Wow. That's okay, roll into the Penguins. Roll into the Pelicans Lakers.
Yeah, this is a revenge spot for the Lakers, and I believe that's why LeBron is going to play. They lost to him like last week or so. It was real recent. Hard-fought game, too. Lakers just came short at the end. But as far as the side, the Lakers are 7-3 versus this division, but the Pelicans are 7-3 versus the Pacific. So both of them have success with these divisions. Pelicans are 5-10 on the road versus the West, so they don't play well in this spot. But the Lakers are only 13-20 in their conference. So I couldn't get to a side in this game, Jimmy. The Pelicans, they're missing pieces. I wish Zion to get a trainer that could keep him on the floor, because with Zion's playing with the Pelicans, you have Ingram and McCollum. You can be a viable team in this Western Conference. And before he got hurt, they were the number 1 team, I believe, in the West before he got hurt, if I'm not mistaken, battling right there with Denver. So it's just unfortunate that he cannot stay healthy because he plays so aggressively. And I don't understand, his body weight tends to put a lot of pressure on his lower extremities, but he has to get his trainer to keep him on that floor, because when he's on the floor, he balls out. And I like Zion, but I can't bet the Pelicans until they get him back. Now, I have been on Brandon Ingram's points. I cashed the other day as well, but I have been on his points. So that's a good look. If y'all just want to take Brandon Ingram's point, he has to be the leading scorer on their team. So I would definitely take his points. But as far as the side, I had to stay off. I don't know what to expect from the Lakers. I don't know if AD is in the right mind as well. A lot of things could be going on in that locker room. They just got a bunch of players in as well with the trade. So a lot of turmoil, a lot of tension things going on. They just got rid of Westbrook. So I guess that was a cancer they got rid of. But I just don't know what to expect in this game leading into the All-Star game. Now, if this was after the All-Star game, I definitely would be on the Lakers at home, because I know this will be an important game for them to, climb into probably in the playoff. They're trying to get into that play-in spot. But right now, before the All-Star break, I can't take a side. So I just get a pass, Jimmy.
Well, you have lots of action. I can understand not forcing it here. Rick J saying, waiting to hear Braun starting. It must be, right? So, interesting. I'm not sure. Oh, God, it's just hard for me to back the Lake show. We just don't know. Drip Skylark says Lakers will show up. The season is on the line. I'm surprised that the bigger bets have come in on the Pelicans, and the spread is what moved very. Oh, by the way, it is 9 now at Bet365 on the Pistons. Let's just look at this movement one more time. We have a slight move towards the Lakers -4.5. Pull this, pull that says LA easy. I'm going to keep an eye on that line movement and make some decisions. What a spectacular job by our guy, LJ from H-Town. Let's review his action here and get into NCAA basketball. So LJ gets started in Spurs Charlotte. He's on scary Terry Rozier over 23.5 points at minus 104 and LaMelo double-double at minus 145. Then LJ's on Vucevic over 12.5 boards at minus 104. Mm-hmm. Then he's on the first half under 111 and the full game under 217 in Cleveland, Philly. And that, pace-wise, I get it. It's just these home games have been going over, and that's a tough one. Then he's gone Brunson over 26.5 points at minus 106 in New York, Atlanta. I would like to go underneath the total and trust Atlanta to show some effort after that debacle in Charlotte and the Knicks' slow pace to help as well. Then Bogdanovic over 21.5 points for LJ, and we have a big news with Tatum, Smart not on the injury report, and Horford as well. So it looks like all three will be in. Then Dinwiddie over 18.5 points for LJ, and Butler over 2.5 steals. And I'm going to move on the Nets in this spot. I think they show effort here. LJ's on the Grizzlies first half minus 4.5. And the Trill OG play of the day, Jaren Jackson over 3.5 blocks at plus 150. And the over interests me, but it's very high. And now we know, there was reason, now we know that Markkanen is on the injury report. So Markkanen is the big change, and that's why the market moved so quickly towards the Grizzlies. If Markkanen's not in, then I don't want the over. LJ's on Shea over 32.5 points, Shea over 2.5 steals, and the Thunder minus 9.5. LJ's on the first quarter over 60 at minus 108 in Dallas, Denver. And then we stayed off Pelicans, Lakers. Spectacular job, LJ, my man. Please follow our guy LJ on Twitter at LJ Sports Media. Truly selfless capper who just wants us all to cash. And you can hang out with him in San Antonio at the end of March because he'll be there rolling with us. LJ, great work. Great. Well, there it is. Palooza 2 right there. The par 3 golf tournament, the poker tournament. That's Friday. Then we have Slapfest that Jose Bouquet will be hosting. $1,000 to the stripper that I don't know what to say. Handles it the best? I don't know. It's going to be fun to watch Jose host the slap contest. And then Saturday is a huge day. We have the cornhole tournament at the Alamo Brewery. It's such a great brewery. So we have the cornhole tournament outside in the sunshine. They have a great cornhole setup. And then we head to UFC San Antonio. Sunday, day at the races at Retama Park. And we have another stand-up comedy show featuring Sonny Dollywall, who'll be with us all weekend hanging out. He's going to be the headliner, one of the best comics in North America. Absolutely great job, LJ, my man. Any last words for the cappers supporting the show?
Hey, man, I can't wait for this Palooza, too. It looks like we're going to have a lot of fun. Because last time, it was the first time I met y'all. And y'all introduced me like I was family, like y'all already do me, man. Very warm welcome. I loved it. Had a great time. So I'm looking forward to doing it again. I'm going to be there the whole weekend. I'm coming in Thursday like you. And we're going to party until we fall out, sir. And that Slapfest is going to be awesome. I can't wait for that. Yeah. But shout out to the chat, man. Mike M, Robert Franklin, Viper B, and Derek Miller had a question for me. He said, am I kin to Ed Reed because we look alike? I think it's the gray beard, Derek. But no, I'm not kin to Ed Reed, sir. I wish I was, but no, I'm not. But I do have great balls too, sir, because I take the Rockets like I know how the Rockets play, and I believe Oklahoma City is going to make a statement because they know that this team always gets them in Toyota Center. So minus 9.5, I get Oklahoma City is going to cover that spread. But enough said, like I said, thanks for letting me come on, Jimmy. I love, enjoy my day off. I love capping these games with you, and let's continue to get this cash, sir.
I love it. What a guy. Big shout out to our guy, LJ from H-Town. Had him back-to-back Wednesdays. When he's available to rock with us, you know that he will be on. What a great capper. And Cashman says, wife wants to visit Nice while I'm there, only finding $450 round trip from New York. Wow, because I got $430 American round trip from Toronto. So I would think that New York would be cheaper. So I'm not sure where the best place to get flights is. but we'll look into that to see if we can help you out there. We move into college basketball. Your expert coming off a nice 2-1 day. Cash with Kansas first half and Kansas State first half. Lost with Illinois first half. So a nice 2-1 day plus 0.83 units. And he's been cashing at a wild rate, especially on our Saturday NCAA Pub shows. Record not as strong here, but it's going to work itself out. I keep telling him that. This guy wants to succeed so badly, and I know he will do that for us. Please welcome to the show from Dallas, Texas, another capper you can hang out with at Pub-A-Palooza, Mr. Dabber Cadabra, Dabby Cab. How are you, my guy?
Good, Jimmy. Good. I'm ready to get to it. We got a good slate of games today for a Wednesday. You know, this Wednesday almost feels like a Tuesday. We're loaded up. We got a bunch of good matchups today too. So I'm ready to get some fucking money, man.
I'm excited. I'm excited about this board as well. We've already got looks from a few different cappers. We've got the Taint play of the day. We're going to go over all of those things as well. And I love it, Rick. I love it. So let's get to work right now. Yeah, Aaron, we just heard that, but thank you. It's another part of what makes the show so special. Aaron just jumping in to say you just saw Tatum Horford Smart going to play. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. We have our very first game here. We're going to talk Taint at the end. We also have looks from DC Capper, his looks, and he also has looks from a high roller at his casino. But first off, we're going to get right into 7 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to let BJ lead us into this. Number 1 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide, 22-3, 12-0 in the SEC. At the number 10 ranked Tennessee Volunteers, 19-6, 8-4 in the SEC. And BJ said, this was earlier in the show. He said, what up, Jimmy? My best bet today is Tennessee money line tonight. He's got 500 on it. Says, I'm staying away from NBA and focusing more on NCAA, but we'll give opinions in chat as usual. And we love you. Jonathan Yasharla, also liking Tennessee. Lee Davis says Tennessee may be without a couple guys. Derek Miller saying Jimmy college basketball getting interesting now. Teams each play each other twice. February Madness. Let's cash. And Dana Delp saying Dabby, nice day yesterday. Kansas got hot at the end of the half for us. Let's go into the line history first and then the cash flow. But this is a big one popping off at 7 p.m. Let me move over here and get into the line history, the cash, and then we'll set the table. But it's nice going in knowing that we have a $500 bet for BJ on the money line on Tennessee. Line history-wise, we have – this is giving me bookmaker. Why would they be giving me – how do I – they have a new oh, there we go. Sorry, there's a new setup here. So okay, here we go. So, oh yeah, and we want Bet Online, don't we? Let's move over to Bet Online. There we go. So Bet Online, open this up. Alabama +3. That's exactly where it is right now. +3, being a 4-cent move to Tennessee. Just a 4-cent move. Totals wise, this opened up at 141 yesterday at 1:58 p.m. 141. It's now at 148.5. This has gone up 7.5 points. You wonder why the pros love betting college basketball. It's right there. You can get that big of an advantage. Wow. So a huge move towards the over. Let's take a look at where the cash lies for this one. Jesus. Here we go. 13,145 tickets in. Huge amounts of bets on this one. 50-50 on the ticket count, but 61% of the cash on Tennessee. Then 75% of the tickets and 87% cash on the under. But the total just keeps rising and rising and rising. That's wild. Let's just go back to this now. Let's move from Bet Online to Pinnacle. Has Pinnacle moved this towards Tennessee? No, it's the exact same thing. They've actually moved a 1 cent towards Alabama. It did. There was a little bit of time where it was at 3.5, but it's back at 3. Interesting. All that money on Tennessee and with all these tickets and still no movement towards them. Strange. Alabama comes in off its 4th straight win, 77-69 at Auburn on Saturday as 2-point favorites. That was a big road win. Showed what we're going to be dealing with come March Madness. Very, very good basketball team. Tennessee comes off its 2nd straight loss, 86-85 at home to Mizzou as 12.5-point favorites. They've lost each of their last 2 games by 1 point to Mizzou, and then before that at Vandy. Take it away for us here. Dabby Cap, first game on the board, Crimson Tide at the Volunteers.
So, you know, I kind of ragged on Purdue when they were at that number 1 spot. This is the first time this year I think we have a true number 1 team. Alabama, in my opinion, is the best team in the country right now. You know, they've won. They're 9-1 their last 10. They're undefeated in SEC play, which is just fucking spectacular. Their last loss was against Oklahoma, where Oklahoma put up like 92 or 93 points, super uncharacteristic of Oklahoma. When you look at Brandon Miller, the freshman forward for this Alabama team, he's a future pro. This kid is amazing. He's putting up 18.8 points per game, 8.2 rebounds per game. This offense as a whole putting up 83.4 points per game, which is good for 6th in the country. They're allowing 68.7, which, might seem a little high at 154th, but the pace of play that Alabama plays, like it's gonna raise that number some. But then you look at Tennessee here; they're 11-2 at home, so they're where they're comfortable at least. 11-2 at home, putting up 72.2 points per game, 154th. On defense is where Tennessee thrives, 3rd in the country, only allowing 56.3 points per game. But when we look at these two teams, Tennessee does this shit every single year. You could say that, they're looking ahead to Alabama. I don't care. Tennessee does this shit every year. They're one of the best teams, one of the top 10 teams in the country. And then at the end of the year, they just suck. I'm getting used to it with Tennessee. Alabama, they climbed to this number 1 spot. They've gone undefeated in the SEC, like I said. While Tennessee on the other side, they've lost 3 of their last 4, including the 2 one-point losses you said to Vandy and Mizzou. I think Knoxville at home is an extremely tough place to play. Maybe something full game that I want nothing to do with, but you're going to give me a 1.5 in the first half with Alabama. I'll take it. So I got Alabama in the first half plus 1.5 minus 110.
Oh, did you tweet these out as well?
Yes.
Okay, so I will take a look at that.
Man, well. I've got to make sure I start putting your tag on it too. I always tag Pub Sports Radio though.
Oh, it's all good, man. Don't worry. Alabama first half plus 1.5 at minus 110. If you wanted that now, let's take a look here with that. So the injury question marks with Tennessee. If you wanted the 1.5 right now, it's down to 1. So it moved to 1 at Pinnacle. Let's see if it moved to 1 everywhere. Actually, sorry.
And that was just recent, probably during the show, right?
Yeah, it just happened. And it's funny because bookmakers at 2, but that's at minus 115. But Pinnacle has just moved it to 1. Dabby Cab is on Alabama first half plus 1.5. I'm surprised the market not moving at all towards Tennessee if the bigger bets are on them. I think I'm going to be staying off of the spot right now, but Cab has moved on it.
Jimmy, look at the way the points are. Look at the total. Look at how much you said it's gone from 141 to 148. Tennessee relies on their defense. So if this total's flying up, if Tennessee's defense isn't shutting down Alabama, this is going to be a tough game for them.
I wonder if it's too high now. I don't like to be that cute, but there's cappers here in the chat that believe it has gone too high. Evan says 148 is too high. They've gone too far. Says hit that under hard, bringing it back down. It has dropped to 148 from 148.5 for Evan. All right. Interesting. So we have Dabby moving on it. I'm not moving on that one. I was hoping to, but I'm not. Let's move on to let's move over to the Big East. We go from the SEC to the Big East. Got a big one here. 2 ranked teams going at it. 7 p.m. Eastern. Number 16th ranked Xavier Musketeers, 19-6, 11-3 in the Big East. At the number 11 ranked Marquette Golden Eagles, 20-6, 12-3 in the Big East. We're at Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Let's go into the cash flow the line history for this one. We have Xavier opening up plus 5.5. They're now at plus 6, but that's at Pinnacle. Let's go over to Bet Online here. I should figure out how to keep it there. Opened up at plus 6, now at plus 5.5. And then totals wise, this opened up at 164 and it's dropped to 161.5. It did get as low as 159. So there was buyback at that point once it got down to 159. All right, so let's make a move here over to the cash flow and see what we are dealing with. We have 6,766 tickets in. 45% of the tickets and 83% of the cash is on Xavier. 84% of tickets, 80% cash on the over. Very strange markets from this opening 2 games. Let's just go back to the line history here once more because all these big bets going on Xavier. And is the line moving towards them at all? It is not. Confusing. So Xavier 11-3 in the Big East, going at Marquette 12-3 in the Big East. Xavier had their 2-game winning streak snapped in a 69-67 loss at Butler Friday night as 7-point favorites. We were on Butler first half. It was a very easy casher. Butler ends up winning outright. Marquette bounced back from its 87-72 loss at UConn by winning 89-75 at Georgetown on Saturday. Take it away for us here, Dabby Cab. And very quickly, Razor Sharp picks horseplay of the days in Gulfstream Park Race 8, the 6 Frozen Solid. Morning line 15-1. Razor Sharp picks horseplay of the day is in. And I'm going to review that too. But I've set up the game. So let's hear Xavier Marquette from our Dabby Cab.
I got you, man. One thing, so Xavier, what I was super impressed with was their non-conference schedule. I mean, this team has loaded up. When you look at their offense from beyond the arc, this team's shooting 40.1%. That's second in the country. That's outstanding. They're fifth in adjusted offense efficiency and field goal percentage. They're going against a Marquette team who is 229th in field goal percentage, opposing field goal percentage, and 313th in rebounding. So that kind of like pushed me a little bit towards Xavier in these points here, but this home court is going to matter. And Marquette's no slouch themselves. Of their 6 losses, 3 have come against ranked teams. They've won 11 of the last 13. Their offense is 3rd in adjusted efficiency rating. And they have the highest percent from inside the arc in all of college basketball, hitting 60%, which is just fucking outrageous. And like I said, home court for me matters in this one. These are 2 offenses that are going to just be going at it. And when you have 2 offenses going head to head, I usually lean towards whoever's at home. So I lean Marquette here. I have not bet this game.
Yeah, this is tough. All these bets coming in on Xavier and the market not moving. Lee Davis liking Marquette in the first half. Mally Mal says Marquette is the goods. Jarek White is on Marquette -5.5. We got terrible news about the Yotes action. Even though the team total won't get affected, it might even help our team total in all honesty, because the odds will go down on them with Ingram in net. But Ingram's in net for the Coyotes. Jake Burns is also on Marquette. And it's a stay off spot for me. But Razor's giving us a horse play of the day. Gulfstream Park Race 8, the 6 Frozen Solid. And I haven't told Razor about all our horse racing that's coming up here. I'm excited.
Is that like about to go? I'm gonna bet it. Hold on.
No, not yet. Race 8's not about to go because we just had race 2, maybe, but it probably in about an hour. I would say maybe. What time is it? 1:20. Maybe.
Or 6 in race 8.
Yes, at 15-1. Race 8, the 6 Frozen Solid at 15-1. Mally Mouse says Marquette beat Xavier in Xavier. Why would my money be on Xavier?
Yeah.
Rob Free says, Rob Free says no Fremantle again for Xavier. They're not as dominant down low right now. What were you going to say, Dabby?
I was just going to say that's a good point by Mally in the chat there. And also this home court's I think home court's going to be the difference maker in this game. I think, yeah. So.
All right, let's move on to the next spot on the board, 7 p.m. Eastern. St. Bonaventure Bonnies. We head over to the A10, 13-13, 7-6 in conference at Fordham Rams, 20-5, 8-4 in conference. We're at Rose Hill Gymnasium in the Bronx. Go to the line history here for this one. We wanted to touch on a few different conferences because we know that the conference tournaments are coming up, and this was a no-brainer. This one looked like a lot of fun, and with Fordham playing good basketball right now. Fordham opening up at Pinnacle -5.5 and now -4, a move towards the Bonnies. Let's see what it is at BetOnline. At BetOnline, Fordham opening up at -5 and now -4.5. Go over to the totals. This total opened up at 133.5. It's dropped 1 point to 132.5, and that is at BetOnline. Let's go over to the cash flow for this one. We have St. Bonaventure given the highest line value. I think they're tied with Cal Baptist. The highest line value in the entire NCAA basketball card here, St. Bonaventure. Just 1,630 tickets in, 46% of the tickets, 74% of the cash is on the Bonnies. No information on the total. St. Bonaventure comes in off its second straight loss, 56-54 at Duquesne Saturday, 7.5-point dogs. They play well. Fordham comes in off their second straight win, 73-71 at Davidson on Saturday as 5-point dogs. I don't know how Fordham didn't shoot crazy, but they only turned the ball over 5 times in the win. And I wonder if they're a little sloppy early. In fact, I'm very interested in St. Bonaventure first half in this one. Take it away for us, Dabby Cab. Bonnies, Rams. You are muted. They do have your over-under at 2.5. 2.5
Shit.
mute.
There's a number on it now.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
that's
2.5
one.
mute. So that's number one for the gamblers at home.
You shouldn't have put that in my head. Now you guys are going to lose because I'm going to think about it. We'll see. Mike M said 11 out of last 12 for St. Bonaventure against Fordham. I had 9 out of last 10, so I guess it's 11 out of last 12. St. Bonaventure, and usually I don't like looking back, but they've got their number. Like I said, I guess 11 out of their last 12. Defensively, the Bonnies are giving up 66.1 points per game. They're only putting up 66.5. Last game, they only put up 54 points, and it's crazy to me that they put up 54 points and hit 50% of their shots. That's how slow their offense is playing. How do you only score 54 points and you make 50% of your shots in a game? On the other side, the Rams, 72.4 points per game. They're allowing 67.4. They've won 7 of their last 8, 4 of their last 5 at home, where they've thrived offensively. And the Bonnies, they've lost 2 straight and 8 of their last 10 on the road. When I looked at this, I wanted to bet St. Bonaventure. I really wanted to bet St. Bonaventure. But after looking into it more, I'm just going to stay off of it.
Yeah, I get it. And I kind of want to stay off the full game spot, but I just have a feeling I thought St. Bonaventure played very tough defensively against Duquesne. I don't know if they can play that much better. And let's see here. I'd like to move on them. 2 straight losses. I'd like to move on them first half here. I'd like to. They lost to Fordham at home, 79-68. I think they come out angry. I'm going to take the Bonnies first half. Bonnies first half for me. I'm going to be on St. Bonaventure first half. Dave and Cal says all that cash on the Bonnies makes me want to take Fordham. Not me, because most of the tickets, 5.4 of every 10 tickets have come in on Fordham. So it's what's happened with the St. Bonaventure are the bigger bets. So that I'm very comfortable with all. And also, not only that, but if you see big bets coming on a team, you want to see the market move in their direction. We've seen that here. Wow. Can you believe this? Yesterday, you could have got this at plus 7.5. Jesus. So the first move was heavy towards Fordham. And then it just started getting hammered in the other direction. Wow. So maybe 4.5 is a bet. That's wild. Let's see what Pinnacle's done with this. Pinnacle opened this up. Move. Yeah, huge. Pinnacle opened this up at 10.18 last night. That's why we talk about what Bet Online's doing. Pinnacle opened this up at 5.5, and now it's at 4. So I do not want. I need. It's still 4.5 at Bet365, but Pinnacle's already moved this to 4. I think the Bonnies are the player. I can understand wanting to stay away from the big bets, but you need to see 2 things: is the market moving? I do. I need to see, is the market moving in that direction? And are we talking about less than 50% of the tickets and the big bets? Because if those 2 things are ticked, I want to bet them. So I'm moving on the Bonnies. Rob Free says, I follow the Bonnies very closely, and I love taking the Bonnies as underdogs, but he's off today. And Perez Mob says, Fordham at home is a bet on spot or off altogether my entire career. And Derek Miller says, love your guest cappers. They just don't make unwise picks. Thank you, Derek, my man. It's the chat, too. We're a team here. Okay, I'm going to be on Bonnie's first half. That's my first spot on the board. Let's head over to the Southern Conference. This is a beauty, and I wanted to talk about it. Homewood, Alabama. We head to the Pete Hanna Center for UNC Greensboro Spartans, 18-9, 12-2 in conference. At the Samford Bulldogs, 12-2 in conference. You have to think that one of these 2 teams will be involved in the conference final to get into the tournament. Let's take a look at what we are dealing with from a line history perspective here for this one. We have Greensboro opening up at +1. They're now at +1.5. That's at Pinnacle. Let's go over to Bet Online and see what they have. Bet Online has +1 and +1, so no movement. Totals wise, this opened up at 137. It's now 136.5, so not a lot of help there. We take a look at the cash flow for this one. We have just 1,019 tickets in and no help. 57% of the tickets, 56% of the cash on Sanford. UNC Greensboro come off its fourth straight win, 97-89 in overtime at home over Wofford Sunday as 9.5-point favorites. So they have a day less rest. Sanford coming off its fourth straight win, 76-70 at home over Citadel Sunday as 14.5-point favorites. Both teams sort of looked past their opponents, but did enough to win and now face each other. By the way, Swiss Horton saying for them the real deal. They showed it to me when they beat Tulane. Take it away for us here. Dabby Cab, Southern Conference action, UNC Greensboro at Sanford.
These two teams have been this line is where it should be, right there. I mean, and that's what's tough about this one for me in this game. These two teams have both been about the same this year. Sanford 11-12 ATS, UNC 12-13 ATS. Sanford's got the better offense. They're putting up 77.9 points per game, which is 46 in the country, on 45.2% shooting. So that's above average also. Where they've struggled is on defense, giving up 70.7 points per game. And you look on the other side, UNC, they can shoot it from deep. They're hitting 34.6% of their shots from deep. They're putting up 72 points per game. This is a tough game. Like I said, I lean UNC here, but I have not bet this game.
A very important point made by our Lee Davis, and a great angle here. UNC 3-0 this season, revenging a home loss, 9-1 the last 3 seasons. And Montrose out for the year for the Yankees. Montross, I should say. Hard toss. Montos. That's it, right? You have the R there. Montos, sorry. I was going over my nicknames for him. And Montos out for the year. His shoulder was a problem last year. That's not too surprising. And I want the Yankees. I hope that doesn't affect their win total. I want under on the Yankees win total. I'm not as high on them as everybody else, but that's a big story. Thank you, Brian, for sharing that with us. When you hear that angle from our guy Lee Davis, does that make you more interested in Greensboro?
Yeah, and I mean, I think catching points with them in the first half is something, on the road that, it's one of my specialties, one of my spots. I do like it. It's just not going to make my card.
And to see that game quickly, the Sanford game, 70-68 loss at home. They lost to Furman at home as well after winning at Furman in overtime. But the Sanford lost by 2 points in that game, and they shot 38.9% from the field and 35.7% from three. Sanford shot 50% from the field and 48.4% from three. Oof, wow, that makes me interested in UNC Greensboro. See Greensboro. I wonder if I would focus on the first half too. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that makes my card, but it might. Let's move on. We're going to head back to the SEC for this one. Let me get the line history set up. And Kentucky, as soon as we started talking about how they looked like they had turned it around, they've completely fallen off, which is just shocking. BetOnline opened Kentucky at +3 at -115. Right now they're +3 at -113. They did get to 2.5 after this opened, but no movement really on Kentucky. Total-wise, this opened up at 128.5, and that's where it is right now. So probably a sharp line here in Kentucky, Mississippi State. Let's go over to the cash. This one popping off at 8:30. 4,254 tickets in. The bigger bets are coming in on Mississippi State. 49% of tickets, 76% of cash. 71% of tickets, 86% of cash on the over, but the market not moving towards the over. Complicated there. Kentucky 16-9, just 7-5 in the SEC. Mississippi State 17-8, 5-7 in the SEC. We're at Starkville, Mississippi for this one. Kentucky comes in off its second straight loss, 75-68 at Georgia on Saturday, is 7.5-point favorites. Mississippi State comes in off their fifth straight win, 70-64 on Saturdays at Arkansas, 6.5-point dogs. Mississippi State seems like they're moving in the opposite direction of Kentucky. Take it away for us, Dabby Cab, SEC action, Wildcats, Bulldogs.
Yeah, you got. I mean, you introed that perfect. These teams are going in opposite directions. Kentucky, they've lost 2 straight. They're 7-5 in the SEC, and these losses have them projected right now as one of the first 4 teams out. This game is huge, actually, because I'm going to just go ahead and talk about that for a second. Kentucky's projected as one of the first 4 out. Mississippi State's projected as one of the first 4 in. This game has huge implications already. When you look at Kentucky, they're putting up 74.8 points per game, even with their slow tempo. They have the 269th slowest tempo in college basketball, but they're shooting 45.6% as a team, which is actually outstanding. 36.6% from deep. They're giving up 68 points per game. And like you said, on the other side, Mississippi State, won 5 straight. They're 11-3 at home. And their last win over Arkansas, they shot the ball extremely well, 47.4%. But where they excel is defense, man. This defense is only allowing 58.7 points per game, which is good for 5th in the country. And they have a really slow pace also. So I understand why people are looking at the under in this. Both of these teams have extremely slow paces. Missouri State's only putting up 65.6 points per game with one of the slowest paces, and they're only shooting 28.5% from 3, which is just fucking atrocious. One of the worst in college basketball. I get it. These two teams are going in opposite directions, and I think that it's a whole lot to get this number where it is. I got Kentucky plus 1.5 in the first half. I think Mississippi State's playing better basketball. I still think Kentucky's a better team.
Interesting. So you've moved on Kentucky first half. Dabby, Kentucky first half. And what did you get to that?
Minus 110. Plus 1.5, minus 110.
Plus 1.5.
I think I would stay away from full game with them here in this one. I'm trying to attack this one early just because I think Mississippi State's offense is going to take a little while to get going.
Yeah. I hear you. Well, I'm interested in the full game move on Mississippi State. I want the full game. I want Kentucky to get tested. I feel like when they get tested, they just don't seem to rise to the occasion. Let's just take a quick look here. Oh, shoot. Sorry. Let's just take a quick look here. I would like just to ensure of a couple things here before I pull the trigger, but I'm very close to moving on Mississippi State when this is done. What happened when we haven't even seen them up against them. Yeah, I love the breakdown. I love how the importance of this game, and I think what's happening in Kentucky is real. They just don't. This is a really tough. This is going to be a madhouse at Humphrey Coliseum. It's just going to be mayhem, right? Isn't this going to be just sold out mayhem?
Yeah, I was just going to say, but that's every. I mean, good or bad season. That's every time Kentucky goes and plays somewhere. No.
Yeah, but there's so much on the line. I'm gonna move with the home team here, Mississippi State, full game. Dabby's on Kentucky first half here. And just move this over. First half at plus 1.5. All right. Jake Burns taking Mississippi State first half and full game. I'm just going to stick to the full game. Let's keep rolling. And let's head over to the Big Ten for this one. Number 14th ranked Indiana Hoosiers, 18-7, 9-5 in conference. Northwestern Wildcats, 18-7, 9-5, and also 9-5 in conference. I always get nervous when I see that. It's like as if I've written this. No, that's right.
No, you got it right.
Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, so then we're in Evanston, Illinois for this. So this, before, obviously you guys know where I'm going with this. It's, the tried and true thing for me here. Can we actually expect Northwestern after a season-defining victory to do it again? Indiana opening up at minus 1.5 at Pinnacle. They're now minus 2.5. Bet Online has opened up at a pick'em. It's now it got up to minus 3 for Indiana. Now it's minus 2.5. Let's go over to the total. Total opened up at 136. It's dropped to 134.5. Let's go over to the cash flow for this one. You have 50% line value on Indiana. 9,324 tickets in. 46% of tickets and 75% of the cash on Indiana. Then you have 16% of the tickets, but 57% of the cash on the over. Let's move over to I want to go back to this total here. So it's dropped a 1.5. That's very confusing. How in the world am I not going to bet Indiana first half here? Northwestern coming off a 64-58 victory at home over Purdue on Sunday. It's 5-point dogs. Rush the court. Indiana comes in off its third straight win, 62-61 Saturday. Michigan is 3-point dogs. It was a clinical performance by the Hoosiers. How do I not, for the life of me, how do I not bet Indiana first half, daring Northwestern to conjure up that magic again? Take it away, Dabby Cab. Floor is yours.
I already bet Indiana first half. I bet that shit as soon as I possibly could. And I think it's moved since I got it. I just took the money line first half. It was like minus 115. Pretty sure it's like minus 130 right now, maybe even higher. But yeah, I'm on Indiana first half here too. Indiana, 3 in a row, 8 of their last 9. And they already lost to Northwestern this season. Not only did they lose, they lost at home against Northwestern, which is just a bad showing. But Indiana's been a different team in recent weeks. This is something we've come to expect from this Indiana team at the end of the season, kind of turning up. They do have a losing record on the road, though, and Race Thompson is questionable for this game. So those couple factors, I got to get those out of the way. There are reasons why I can understand people liking Northwestern. But still, you look at this Indiana team, 64th in scoring in the country, 6th in field goal percentage, 19th in three-point percentage across the board, just stellar on offense. And Northwestern is riding high right here after that win over Purdue and 3 wins in a row, right? And I said it before that game. I said Purdue is not the number 1 team in the country. That's an overrated team. I mean, I was on Indiana against Purdue also. And you look at this, Northwestern's 11-4 at home, and they already beat Indiana on the road, like I said. They do that with their defense. They're 24th or 21st in scoring defense, 30th in opposing field goal percentage. But I think Indiana shows up here. I think they show up to avenge their loss from earlier in the season. And the fact that I was able to bet the money line first half was something that I just loved. So I got Indiana first half on the money line here.
Yeah, great job. Makes perfect sense. I'd like to roll with you on that. I'm going to have to take them on the spread. Have to figure out what exactly that's going to be. I can understand people moving first half full game. I've been trying so hard to stay away from double dipping in college basketball. Slow Jams Arsenal says double up spot. Swiss Horton says Indiana -2, my top play today. Says Northwestern needs to cool down. And it says that you love ED. Now, Resmob says, damn, I don't like it when we all have the same bet. Look, I get that. But at least at this point, it's us.
Yeah, I stopped paying attention to that. When it's us, it's cappers. It's different. It's a completely different thing.
54% of the tickets are on Northwestern. So it's just our group. And if it was the opposite, if it was, say, 58% of the tickets on Indiana, I wouldn't move on it. But here it's us, and we're in the minority. So that's not going to make me. Damon Forbes says Harvard. Harvard had over 50% of the tickets on them. I can't remember the exact number. And it's important you bring that up, Damon, because I'm going to stop. And I did it. I forget the game, but I did it in the game, another game when we had a show where we were all on that one side, and I was like, and also the public was slightly on that side, and I was like, you know what, that I'm going to stop doing that. But here I made it the rule. I'm like, look, if it's just all of us on the side, but the public is on the other side, then I'm going to trust us. And we'll see how that bangs out. But I'm not doubling up. I'm just going to have Indiana first half here. All right, let's keep rolling. Next up for us, Big 12 action. Couple losers. Number 22 ranked TCU Horned Frogs, 17-8, 6-6 in conference. At the number 19th ranked Iowa State Cyclone, 16-8, 7-5 in conference. We're at James H. Hilton Coliseum in Ames, Iowa. Let's take a look at the line. Oh, that's not it. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. Here we go. We have the at Pinnacle TCU opening up +4 -106. They're now +4 -111. This did dip to 3.5 for a little bit. Let's go over to Bet Online. Over at Bet Online, we have it opening up at +4, and it's dropped to +3.5. So a move towards TCU there. Total wise, there we go. Total wise, opening up 135.5, now down to 134.5. It did drop to 134. So slight move to the under. TCU, Iowa, let's see what we have for cash flow. A lot of tickets in, 9,196 tickets in, 52% of the tickets and 87% of the cash on TCU. Looks like sharp action on TCU. Market moving slightly towards them. Mike M says Iowa State going to ball out here tonight. Let's move over to the total. See if we have any information there. And we do. We have a ton. 62% of tickets, 81% of cash on the over, but it's dropped a little bit. Rocco Rogers says I want Iowa State, but this is hard. Says TCU coming in off their third straight loss, 72-68 at home to Baylor on Saturday. It's 2.5-point dogs. They played well. Tough spot. Iowa State comes in off its second straight loss, 64-56 at home to Oklahoma State at 6.5-point favorites. That was ugly. But now they're back home again. This is a tough one. Rob Free says Iowa State kills me anyway. I bet them backwood. Let's see what Debbie Cab has to say. Texas team in action in Big 12. Take it away.
First off, I'm shocked TCU is still ranked despite going 0-3 their last three. They're 3-5 in true road games this season. They lost their first meeting between these two teams, and that was at home. So Iowa State did win the first time. I've said it with Lampkin and Mike Miles out, or Lampkin is questionable tonight. Last I checked, so he's questionable, and Mike Miles Jr. is just out.
No, we have notice from BJ saying I heard Mike Miles is coming back.
What? There's no way, really.
Let me work with that right now and see what I can get.
I mean, I didn't even get questionable when I looked at it earlier today. It was just not that. I mean, that's crucial information right there. Crucial information. I'll keep capping it like I did, thinking that he's out. But if he's in, that changes everything I said, or everything I'm about to say. But I'm off or fading TCU as long as Mike Miles Jr. is out. And I've said that since he went out that first game against West Virginia. Since he's been out, I've been saying that nonstop.
Both were full participants in practice on Tuesday. Both of them full participants in practice. There's a chance that both could be back here tonight.
Let me put it like this. I can't make a bet or give out a confident side or anything on the total. I can't give anything without knowing that information. So, I mean, I can keep going into it just real quickly, but that's crucial information right there. Iowa State is 12-1 at home. They're 18th in scoring defense in the country. They're 30th in defensive rebounding. But they're only 212th in scoring. Their pace is just so slow, and that's what slows it down a lot. At home against TCU, if Mike Miles is out, I think this is a good get-right spot for Iowa State. Both of these teams are reeling right now. TCU right now is 1-4 their last five, and 1-4 ATS their last five road games. So, like I said, I think this could be a good get-right spot for Iowa State. But if Mike Miles Jr. is playing, then I take that back 100%.
Okay, well, I get. It feels like just from the market movement that they're expecting at least one of them to be back, and then I guess then it comes down to the question. Generally you don't want to bet on a team when their star player comes back, but what about a team that's lost three straight? Right. So there's a lot of moving parts, and this is going to take more time. So I'm going to need to sit with that before I make a move on it. So let's just move past it and head over back to the SEC. 9 p.m. Eastern. Arkansas Razorbacks 17-8, 6-6 in conference at the Texas A&M Aggies 18-7, 10-2 in conference. We're at Reed Arena in College Station, Texas. Let's start with the line history here for this one. We have Arkansas opening up at Pinnacle at +3.5. They're now at +4. Head down to Bet Online and see what happened there. Bet Online, they opened up at +2 and they're now +3. Got up to +3.5. They're sitting at +3 right now. So market moving towards Texas A&M. Let's take a look at the total. Total opened up at 141, dropped a half point to 140.5. So let's see if the cash dictates that. BJ, you're the man. That's what makes this show so important. And that's what the key is we just want as much information as possible for all of us. And so great job, BJ. You're the man. All right, let's take a look at the cash flow here for SEC action. Arkansas, Texas A&M. We have 6,139 tickets in. 42% of tickets, 63% of cash on Arkansas. But they're becoming a bigger dog. 60% of tickets and 66% of cash on the over, and it's dropped a half point. So that's confusing. Arkansas had their 3-game winning streak snapped in that 70-64 loss at home to Mississippi State Saturday, 6.5 point favorites. Didn't look good. Texas A&M coming off their third straight win, 74-62 at LSU as 6.5 point favorites. I know you know these Aggies well. Take it away for us here. Dabby Cab, Arkansas, Texas A&M.
Yeah, well, and I've said it every time we get into it. It's frustrating. They're 16-9 ATS this year, and I haven't been going with or against them. I've kind of stayed away from it a little bit. Arkansas on the other side, they're 12-12 against the spread this year. Like you said, 17-8 straight up. Arkansas beat A&M 81-70 back on January 31st. And it's been since then that A&M has gone on their run. They're 3 games in a row that they've won now since then. Arkansas right now is a team putting up 74.5 points per game, a little above average at 121st in the country. They're doing it on 47.8% shooting, though, which is great. That's 34th. And on defense, they're only giving up 65.7 points, which is 68th on 41.4% shooting. So they're holding opponents to 41.4% shooting, which is 62nd in the country. So that puts them at 14th overall in adjusted defense efficiency, which is outstanding. A&M on the other side, a little above average, 75 points per game on 44.8% shooting. But they're 55th in rebounding, and that's where I think that this game is going to be won, is on the boards here at home for A&M. They're doing good on defense. They hold opponents to 40.2% shooting, which is 27th in the country. So they're 69th in adjusted defense efficiency. I think we're going to see a lot of good defense. I think the under is in play in this game. And I think that, due to Arkansas's inconsistency and just, you don't know what you're going to get from this Arkansas team. Due to that, I lean A&M, but I'm not betting this game.
Yeah, I don't feel confident enough with an angle here to bet. So there's going to be no movement, no move on this one for me. We have 2 games left, so let's see if we can find. But I think I have enough. We moved over to the Big West. I think this is a very interesting spot here. UC Irvine Anteaters. 17-8, 10-3 in the Big West. At UC Santa Barbara, 24, 11-2 in the Big West. We're at the Thunderdome in Santa Barbara, California. Of course, Santa Barbara's last game, an 84-74 win over UC Davis on Saturday, a 6.5 point favorites, overshadowed by the Andre Kelly fight. And that's why I thought maybe we could find, and I haven't gone too deep into this, but I was like, I wonder if there's an angle here. Their 6'9 senior forward, Andre Kelly, 9.2 points, 6.2 boards, is suspended for this game. Let's take a look at the line history and set a quick table, and then see if there's an angle that we can trust here. I do like the idea of Santa Barbara stepping up without Andre Kelly. I do like it. I know that's what they're all going to be talking about. We're winning this one for Andre. I mean, those of you who play sports, you know what that does. It does push you a little harder when you want to win one for your brother. But there's been a move towards UC Irvine and Pinnacle, 3.5 down to 2, as plus 3.5 down to plus 2. So if this isn't set up right, I'm not going to move on. I was kind of hoping it would. Totals wise, I thought I moved that. Totals wise, it's opened up at 137.5 and it's down to 136.5. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this one. We have where the hell is it here? Here we go. They've given Cal Irvine some line value, 25, maybe 30 through 25% line value. 16% of tickets, 37% of cash is on Cal Irvine. 65% of tickets and 96% of cash is on the over. It's a lot of money to be on the over for it to drop a point, and it just dropped a point. No, it didn't. It dropped the point it dropped was at 10:34 a.m. So that's way off. It dropped 3.5 hours ago. Irvine coming in off their second straight win, 83-64 at home over UC Riverside Saturday, 7-point favorites. They shot 56.7% from the field and 54.5% from 3. I find it hard to believe they're going to be able to do that again. I really do. But 16-37, there's some sharp action on UC Irvine to turn it up again. I was really hoping that there would be less belief in Santa Barbara with Andre Kelly being out, and we would be able to grab him. Mike M says Santa Barbara first half and full game. Rob, I'm going to copy and paste your play of the day. Thank you for sharing that with us. We have Taint play of the day. We have a few plays of the day. DC Cappers action that we're going to go over at the very end here. Rick J says Irvine plays small ball, so tough to call. So Santa Barbara have been playing well lately. And Rob Free says, UC Santa Barbara are them dudes at home in this conference. Take it away for us here, Dabby Cab. I knew this was going to be a fun one. UC Irvine, UC Santa Barbara.
Yeah. So you said it. Irvine, they're putting up 108 per 100 possessions, and they're allowing 100.5 points per 100 possessions, which is good for 85th in the country. So that puts them at a 76.5 points per game, 66, and only 66.5 allowed, which is 95th. So, but they're just very solid on both sides of the ball. Santa Barbara on the other side, 108.6 per 100 possessions. They're allowing 101.4. So they're pretty close. They're only putting up 71.2 points per game, but they only allow 63.3 points per game, which is good for 33rd in the country. They're one of the best shooting teams also at 49.3%, good for 8th in the country. When you look at what Santa Barbara's done in conference as a team in conference, they've shot 50.3%. That's fucking incredible. I mean, that's just outstanding. And they're holding opponents to 42.6% in shooting in conference. I lean Santa Barbara here. I haven't bet this one, but I get it. Even without their best player, I still like Santa Barbara here. Like I said, in conference as a team, they're shooting 50%. That's just outstanding.
I figured out how to do this. I maybe having Andre Kelly out of the lineup is going to hurt them over 40 minutes. But I'm going to take Santa Barbara to be fired up for the first half of this basketball game. So I'm going to take Santa Barbara first half. This sort of goes against the amount of the smaller tickets on UC Irvine, but the bigger bets. But let's look. Irvine shot unbelievably well at home. Now they come to the Thunderdome, and you have a team that is fired up after the suspension to Andre Kelly. And I'm going to take Santa Barbara first half here. Lee Davis says the over looks good as well. Yeah, I get it. I don't understand why it's not going up. So that's if the books are not going to show any concern for a side that I like, then I'm not going to bet it. I need a signal from the books that they're concerned. And so when I look at my losses, it's always spots where the books didn't show concern, but I thought I knew best. But here I'd like the angle for Santa Barbara first half. All right, so that is now we move on to our final game here on today's card, and then we're going to go over the Taint play of the day and a ton of plays of the day. Oh, Rob Free's play of the day as well. Here, I got to get that down here. We're going to go over DC Cappers action. We're going to go over all the action. So let me just move this over here so that we're ready to go. The last spot on the board for us, we head to Alaska Airlines Arena in Seattle, Washington. There was a lot of spot. This was there was 3 or 4 games I was trying to decide. I thought here, and this is more for me while I'm capping and working on tomorrow's card, was that it's nice, even though it takes my attention away, but kind of like having action. I'm not going to force it, but I like having action on the late game of the day, the DGen game, 11 p.m. Eastern. Oregon Ducks, 15-11, 9-6 in the Pac-12. Ducks have been good to me this year. At the Washington Huskies, 13-3, 5-10 in conference. We're at Alaska Airlines Arena here. Let's move over to the line history for this one, and then we'll move into the cash flow. So here we go. Line history-wise, at Pinnacle, this opened up Oregon -4.5. Now Oregon's -5.5. Let's move over to Bet Online here and see what they did with it. They have Oregon opening up -5, now -5.5. So they have much smaller change. Now, the initial move was towards the Huskies, but it's come back. Totals-wise, this opened up at 141.5, and it's now at 140.5. So not much, and no injury news, nothing it seems that's too important to us here for this one. Go over to the cash flow. They've given line value to Oregon, about 33%, maybe 30%. 1,528 tickets in. 41% of the tickets and 59% of the cash is on Oregon. 41 and 59. No help with the total. Oregon had their modest 2-game winning streak snapped in a 70-63 loss at home to UCLA. They beat USC badly by 18 before. Maybe we're just a little too high on themselves, and UCLA is a very good basketball team. The Huskies have lost 4 straight. The last 3 coming on the road. They played UCLA and USC pretty tough. They were a little disappointing against Washington State. Those are 3 tough road games in Pac-12 action. UCLA, USC, and then the in-state rivalry with Washington State. That's interesting. Maybe it's a bounce-back spot for them. Oregon playing 2 games in a row at home and now heading out on the road. Take it away for us here, Dabby Cab. And we have a spot where they haven't seen Washington yet this season. The floor is yours. Pac-12 action to finish off our show, Oregon, Washington.
So Slow Jam said it, man. Oregon's so Jekyll and Hyde, especially for me. I mean, people know my opinion of this team. All that being said, I think tonight might be a spot for them. The Huskies right here, only 13-13 on the season, but 14-11-1 against the spread. So they've been doing good ATS, which is just hard. This team is only 5-10 in conference, and even with the losing streak, they're 4-1 their last 5 ATS. So you got to find the value because that can be confusing. They're 10-5 here at home, like I said, and this is just a spot where Oregon, as much as I talk shit about this team, they're pretty balanced. They're putting up 113.8 points per 100 possessions, which is good for 37th in the country, while only allowing 98.8 points per 100 possessions, which is good for 65th in the country. And right now, you look at what Oregon's been doing of late. They've been holding opponents to 41.4% of their shots. And in conference, they're only allowing 68.3 points per game while scoring 70.9. I think Oregon's the better team here. I think this is a good matchup spot for Oregon also. That being said, I have my ROI when I bet Oregon is 0, whether I'm on them or against them. And I don't like throwing teams out because of that, but I'm not betting it. I just think this is a good spot for Oregon right
here. If the bigger bets were in on Washington, I'd be on them. I didn't realize it until I started looking at it from a couple different vantage points, but I kind of like the situation in Washington. But I'm not going to go up against I know that I've come back to earth in college basketball and now sitting just barely in the black on the season, but still it's working. And we saw what it did for me in college football. I had a great season with a similar idea. I'm just not going to say I'm better than the market move or the sharp action ever. And then here I can understand why people think Washington's going to bounce back here. And I think it's a great angle that was shared by Lee Davis. Washington 8-1 against the spread off a loss versus a conference rival. Jarek White wanting to know the cash on the total for this one. Nothing. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. If I don't mention it, it's because there's nothing available for me. There's no information for me. Only 1,528 tickets in on this one. So let's review action here and talk about some of our highlighted plays. So first, let's talk about highlighted plays. Matty Ice, the taint play of the day is in its SC Upstate, a +4.5. He has sprinkled on the money line as well. SC Upstate +4.5 is the taint play of the day. BJ's best play, best bet for him today is Tennessee money line. He put 5 bills on it, so he's not messing around. Then DC Capper, his best plays are NJIT Binghamton under 133.5, and San Diego State Fresno State over 127.5. That's DC Capper's best spots on the board, and he said that a high roller that's at his casino is moved, put 5K on Clemson -10. And 5K on Indiana Northwestern under 134. So there we go. Then we have our guy Rob Free's best bet is SFA. SFA, Stephen F. Austin -6.5 versus Tarleton today. So that's from Rob Free, best bet. SFA -6.5. So that is here as well. Now let's go over our action. Cab is on the first half +1.5 for Alabama. And I have some interest in the over. Some interest. Xavier Marquette, we stayed off. I'm moving on Bonnie's first half. And I'm moving on UNC Greensboro first half. I do want to look a little bit longer at UNC Greensboro, but I expect to move on them first half. Dabby Cabs on Kentucky first half plus 1.5 minus 110. I'm going to be on the other side full game. I'm going to take Mississippi State to keep rolling at home. I thought it was a very impressive victory at Arkansas. And I don't know. Does Kentucky have heart? Are they going to answer back with character here? Your guess is as good as mine. And I'm going to bet that it's not enough, whatever they do. Cabs on Indiana first half, money line minus 115. He beat the market move. He tweeted it out. You got to follow him on Twitter at Dabby Cab. I'm going to be on Indiana first half as well. But I'm going to have to take the spread, unfortunately.
What is it, -1 or for you?
The full game's gone. I'm guessing that the first half will be around -1.5. I'm guessing. I'll have to double check, but I'm not going to. It's certainly going to be the money line I can't rock with. I'm going to have to take a spread of some kind. Arkansas, Texas A&M, we stayed off. I'm moving on Santa Barbara first half. I'm very interested in it because the where the cash flow doesn't really correlate with me backing them. Here it's more of a I think this team comes together early. And I love fading a team that shoots out of their mind and has to switch locations. So, and I'm only fading them first half. Maybe Andre Kelly's suspension will hurt them in the long run. And Troy Torrance, first half -1 and -110. I'd be comfortable with that. I'd be comfortable -1, -110. I'd be comfortable with that. And that is our college basketball action. Dabby Cab, my man, I'm looking forward to more of these Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I'm sorry I wasn't available yesterday, but I look forward to these Tuesdays and Wednesdays. We have a captain with each other. I'm very excited about San Antonio. Do you want to let the chat know a little bit about our Thursday night, the delusional eats, the infused dinner that we're having with a capper that we love very much, Fowlish Hound?
Yeah. And Delu, shout out to both of them, man. And shout out to our guy, Jose. He supposedly put something in the mix with some place that does infusion dinners like with CBD. So Jose, if you want to say who you're talking about, because he caught me off guard with it, but Jose put a new wrinkle in that. But anyways, we're going to get together, guys. It's going to be a full course meal. Everything's going to be infused from top to bottom, whether it's dessert, whether it's lunch. I'll have the menu next week when we come on here. I'll have the menu for everyone so we can go over that. I'll have the milligrams and everything. It's a very precise science. Delusional Eats doesn't fuck around. Best edibles in the business. I promise you that.
I love it. I absolutely love it. But I think, Troy, I think if I was forced, I think I probably back Tennessee full game, but very uncomfortable. And look at that. Rob Free says number 1 beat writer for the Volunteers. Pick Bama to outright win tonight. So he's moving on Bama money line. I'm very comfortably off of it here. But that sounds exciting. And Cashman, can't wait. Yes, you'll be involved. So do remember the list was put up. Oh, no, that's a private list. You can talk to us privately about that. And we got to keep some of this stuff sort of hush-hush. And so at this point, we can't quite discuss that, Jose has to wait till a couple of T's are crossed and I's are dotted and blunts are rolled. So we will. Swiss Horton, very easy to find the beat writers in every sport. All you have to do is write that into the Google. Just write in whatever team and beat writer, and you'll get sent right to their Twitter. So it's very, very helpful, and it helps with every single sport. I'm excited about the Thursday night. Very, very excited about Thursday night. What is the next thing that you're most excited about for our? And I know you're most excited about hanging out with us. So I know that's what you were going to say,
man.
But what event are you the next most excited about?
Well, I'm going to take everybody's money because Nate and I are on teams now in the cornhole tournament. So on Saturday, I'm going to take everybody's money, and then I'm going to get drunk as fuck at the Alamo Beer Company, make sure that I can't drive so that somebody else has to drive me back to the bar. Then we're going to go back to the bar and have some more drinks, light up, watch our bets, make some money. Man, it's as fun as it can get, guys. Literally, we got the whole sports book set up at Southtown 101. Every game's going to be on the fucking screen.
And we have multiple screens all over.
Exactly. We got a bar. We got good food. I'm going to have plenty of good weed. What else do you want? I mean, it's family. We're going to be there having a good time.
I can't wait. I'm extremely excited.
Your
partner screaming no.
The fuck you mean no?
Your so-called partner is screaming no.
He's capitals. You better unknow that.
Oh, that's a great twist. That's a great twist. Dabby Cab, much love, man. Follow Cab on Twitter at Dabby Cab. Dabby, thank you for your hard work. Let's have a night tonight, my man. And much love to you. Any last words for the Capper Sport in the show?
Oh man, you guys! I want to see all you guys there. I can't wait for to meet some of you guys that I haven't met and see some of you guys again, man. Because we don't have shit without you guys. The chat is literally what makes this thing pop. So shout out to all you guys. We appreciate y'all.
There he is, Dabra Cadabra. Let's go over all action. I'm telling you, for me, the single best bet on the board is the Blackhawks team total over 2. You can get that at even money. Probably get that at plus money now. Blackhawks team total over 2. You'll need to use the -1 calculator. Let me know if anyone needs it. Then Blackhawks first period, I have at plus 225. It's just crazy. These lines are nuts. Now, Arizona first period at plus 160. I bet you I'm going to get a better line on the Arizona Coyotes team total now that Connor Ingram's being announced in. I don't want Connor Ingram in. Can he hold the fort for 20 minutes against a team that just the night before beat the Stanley Cup champion in a Stanley Cup rematch in a shootout? Now it's to go to Mullett Arena and 4,000 people, and they're going to be ready to go in the first period? I bet against it. We'll see. I'm getting plus money, big plus money. Detroit, Edmonton over 6.5. You know, those are the type of spots that look. Also, remember last year, the spots the totals where I destroyed the market move. I had a negative ROI. Basically, I was just seeing the most public thing before the public because I do this every day. I mean, there's more to it than that, but I'm on the over 6.5. I got -125, and I like it. And also, I'm expecting that this Colorado-Minnesota total will be down to 5.5 now, which it isn't. Why not? I'm going to wait. I don't understand. It makes no sense. If Pinnacle moves it to 5.5, I don't understand why the other books are not going to do it as well. And so I'm Mike M's Pimp Slap play today, Minnesota Wild. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today is Buffalo in regulation. I'm on the under 6.5. It had moved 5 cents against me. Wow, that Red Wings Oilers is back to over 6 at -125. That makes me very nervous. That Buffalo Anaheim total has moved 5 cents against me as well. It's up under 6.5, so plus 120. Then Rangers Vancouver, I've stayed off. Just even saying the name Vancouver makes me want to smash this computer. In NBA, LJ gave us Rozier over 23.5 points and LaMelo dub -145. He's on Vooch over 12.5 rebounds in Bulls Pacers. He's on the first half under 111, the full game under 217. I just, these Philadelphia, these games at Wells Fargo, even with slow pace, are going over, and I'm interested to see exactly. Yes, of course, Alex, my man. Alex wants the link to the -1 computer. This is courtesy of Ron Crawford, too, our great friend. So, yes, anybody needs it, here's the -1 calculator. Oh, I had a tough time, Mally Mal, talking hockey for almost an hour. I was just so livid, but it's that time. Oh, the Noah's talking about the dinner. Oh, it's funny. So I'm interested in going in the over. I do not want to go heads up with LJ, but LJ's on Jalen Brunson over 26.5 points, -106. I'm going to be on the under 233.5. LJ's on Bogdanovich over 21.5 points in the Pistons Celtics game. That's now at 12. Tatum announced in. Horford announced in. That's wild. So Tatum, Horford, and Smart announced in. God, makes me interested in the Pistons first quarter, man. But I don't know if I pull the trigger on that. LJ's on Dinwiddie over 18.5 points. Butler over 2.5 steals. And I'm going to move on the Nets. LJ's on the Grizzlies first half -4.5. And the new Trill OG play today, Jaren Jackson over 3.5 blocks at +150. 12.5 now. Wow. That's fucking wild. Then LJ's on Shea over 32.5 points, -114. Shea over 2.5 steals at +100. And the Thunder -9.5, -113. LJ's on the first quarter over 60 in Dallas, Denver. And that is our show for today. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. We have nothing without you guys, and we truly mean that. Trendy says, Jimmy, before you take off, do you believe the Bruins are going to be the same team we've seen in the first half of the season? No, I don't know. Because everybody else is getting better. So they were ready for the playoffs game 1. They had a bad season last year. They had Krejci come back. Their goaltending was sound. They had to play great off the top. Remember, McAvoy's heart issue had him out of the lineup, so they were missing their starter. They were missing Marchand. They were missing McAvoy, and they were ready for the playoffs game one. I'm not saying I don't think that they are the class of the East, but no, I don't think they dominate the second half what they did in the first half. No. Torrey Coker, my guy. Thank you guys. Derek Miller, Torrey Coker, Juan Ruiz, OG. Got to hang out with him in Miami. Respect. Jarek White, Mike M, Nasty Nate, Cash Man, Alex Hills, Mally Mal, Rob Free, Lee Davis, Lucky Lefty, Troy Torrance. Lucky Lefty, I hope the new spot is nice. I know you were moving. Hope you're loving your new spot. Res Mob, Nuke Worker, Swiss Horton, Troy Torrance, Rick J, Slow Jams Arsenal, Jake Burns, DC Capper, Evan, Jay Peasy, all you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you to my producer, Jose Bouquet, and all his tireless hard work. Please take a look at his WBC videos, World Baseball Classic videos. He's destroying line moves. That's a huge. There's been a huge move on Japan. He gave it out here at plus 420. And he's got a playlist, of course. He's got the Say Hey Plays playlist. So he's got his WBC videos up. Please check them out and support. And Saturated. Wow, took a chunk of my cheek off. I hope you're okay, buddy. Thinking about you and sending love your way, Saturated. But take some pain meds and let's get that cash. On behalf of all of us at Pop Sports Radio, it's just tough what we do, the life we've chosen. And I was, very, very frustrated today. And, I apologize for being my feelings. It's not something I'm proud of, but I just want to succeed so badly. And so when I'm not doing it, I feel like I know I'm letting my family down. I know I'm letting my friends and family in the chat down, but I mean my family, like just not succeeding, financially because of, my actions. And we're coming off such a great year where we were just winning and winning and winning and winning. And I got used to it and I thought it would stick around. So, and I'm not saying it's not going to stick around, but I'm being tested right now. And it's important, how you handle adversity. So thank you for sticking with me while I was whining like a little bitch. And let's have a day today. It's extremely important. The stakes are fucking high, man. Let's go get the fucking cash. Leche, a Los Bookmakers. Milk that shit.